Aesthetic on the other side. Family, I'm just fixing certain things. Trying to see if it's sound. Shalom, shalom. I believe the song was good. Shalom, shalom. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Oh, I can hear it. Okay. I'll get back to that. First and foremost, I want to give all praises. He's the God he's the God of Israel, but he is the power that rule all things in all nations. But he has a personal relationship with the children of Israel. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to the one true power, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham Rakakadash. To those new to the channel, Yahawah is the Most High God. Yahawashi is who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. The Rakakadash is the Holy Spirit, which that's in the Paleo Hebrew tongue, the ancient tongue. I want to give a double honors to the elder apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who rule well and teach well through the Spirit, and a mighty shalom to the hopeful elect that are scattered four corners of the earth, teaching his word and believing his word, in the same spirit bringing forth sound doctrine. Lord willing that you all continue to endure and be sincere. Shalom to the Akwat Yum, the sisters of the faith that are believers of this truth. Right, Lord willing you continue to pursue your lot, which is being a loving and silent and virtuous wife. And Lord willing the Most High have mercy on the other brothers and sisters that is not in the faith. Right, the title of this lesson is Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. It's put in Dang, I already forgot it. The Lord is putting Salaki, I want to get that right. Yeah, Yahawashi is putting everything in place, right? And, you know, spiritually talking, the salvation of Jacob and the destruction of Esau, right? The Lord is putting everything in place, right? And he's doing it in order, right? So I'm gonna bounce from various points, but it's gonna all line up because we're going through the scriptures. Everything in the scriptures line up depending on what you're bringing out. So Lord willing, this is edifying to the hopeful elect, the true believers, the men, the women, and the children, right? On behalf of the one person that commented and said, all of us are impure. First and foremost, the ones that are impure are the ones that was given the law as the children of Israel, nothing changed. And the person said, and most importantly, shout out to Jesus. His name is not Jesus, so I know you ain't believing in the same thing, so you can go left. Yeah, whatever. Shalom to the brother Yarmayan. Yeah, it is some bots, right? But I know the person that said Jesus is Lord for the whites and the blacks, that right there is not a bot. That's a whole damn demon, man, right? So, first thing I want to get into is that, you know, the Lord is bringing back the children of Israel back in the spirit, man. We getting back to the name, getting back to turning to the ways that the Lord have given us, which he commanded us. And, you know, this is what I was reading today. And, you know, I guess this pushed my spirit to actually come out. And Lord willing, we can handle multiple topics that's going to actually go into the salvation or the deliverance of Jacob and the destruction of Esau. So this is the book of Baruch, chapter 2, starting at verse 26. It says, in the house which is called by thy name hast thou laid waste, as it is to be seen this day, for the wickedness of the house of Israel and the house of Judah. Right? Yes, we're wasted away. We're put four corners of the earth, and the nations, starting with Esau, have consumed or taken possession of our land. First and foremost, with the scriptures, we got to find out who is the people of the land of Israel, right? Is they hidden, right? They got to be hidden, because those that say that they are the people, it's war going on in their land, right? And war outside, so they can't be the people, right? So the wickedness of the southern and northern kingdom, it says, O Yahawah Bahasham Al-Shai, our power, that thou hast dealt with us after all thy goodness, and according to all that great mercy of thine, as thou spakest by the servant Moses in the day when thou didst command him to write the law before the children of Israel, saying, and Moses prophesied this in the time when we were in the wilderness. If ye will not hear my voice, going in the word, but truly we hear the voice of the Lord through the prophets, the apostles, the evangelists, the teachers of his word. Surely this very great multitude shall be turned into a small number among the nations, where I will scatter them, right? Because Jake is scattered four corners of the earth, and they're small. Yes, America has a huge bulk because the southern and northern kingdom is here, but that's just only a little. Some of the elect is scattered four corners of the earth, right? Off of us not listening to the words of the Lord or doing his commands, man. It says, for I knew that they would not hear me, because it's a stiff-necked people, but in the land of their captivities they shall remember themselves. This is very important, because in the land of Babylon, right, when we had Daniel, Ezekiel, and multiple men of the southern kingdom prophesying of the judgment of Israel, some of Israel in each captivity was coming back into believing in the Lord, man. But of course you had a wicked root, right, that still was being of the world, cleaving to their captivity, or the shadow of Babylon, the shadow of Persia, right? That's why a lot of people didn't go with Ezra and Nehemiah to go rebuild the temple, right? The Lord selected a few. We was in a Greek captivity. Many consented to the ways of the Greeks or the heathen, starting with Antiochus Epiphanes in the really the four generals, and then Antiochus Epiphanes when he took reign, right? Israel that was in Egypt and Alexandria, a lot of them fell under the false philosophy, just like we fall under that image Jesus, man. But you had an elect in the time of the Greek captivity that stood firm for the name of the Lord. When we get into the Romans, that's why you have the circumcision and uncircumcision, because it was still Jake that was following the laws and the ways of the Lord. Some of them didn't believe in the Lord, so they were still wicked. But you had a remnant outside of those that was in the circumcision that had to get touched by the Spirit through Yahawashi, and then later on by the Spirit, the Rakak Wadash. Because when the Lord left, he left other husbandmen or servants in authority of his house, and they was teaching the word, and they was coming back to the knowledge. Then it was a falling away, 2 Thessalonians 2 and 3, right? After all the apostles died and all those that was teaching the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the Lord, it was a falling away. And then the Romans went into hiding in the caves and the clefts of the rocks for about 800 to 1,000 years. Then the Lord reestablished Rome again through the rebirth, which is called the Renaissance. And then Jake went further on into a dead estate for 350 years, where the Lord prophesied told Daniel, and he prophesied that the books were sealed until the end time. And knowledge shall be increased. After 1969, knowledge have increased. Not in the name of Jesus, not God and Lord, but knowledge increased where brothers is investigating the deep understanding of the scriptures, which was told from Moses to Malachi, Moses to the Maccabees, Moses all the way to Paul, to where we at right now, where we're teaching in a deeper understanding, even from the old prophets, because a lot of these prophecies are going to be fulfilled in our time, man. So in this captivity, which I explain all the other ones, because we would be here long if I went to every verse, right, which we can. Now in America, this captivity, Jake is getting back to remember who they are, because this is the last captivity, right? We stiff-necked, the 2/3 is stiff-necked, but some of us, Jake, that got in his truth before, we was stiff-necked too. But the Lord was knocking at the door, because maybe you might be of the elect, right? Because if you got this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, the Lord was supping with you, right? Let's get back to it. Lord willing, you understood all those things. Verse 31, and shall know that I am Yahawah Shem Al Shai, their power, for I will give them a heart and ears to hear. So the Lord gave us a mind, because that's the only way the elect can hear. And in your mind, you have the Rakak Wadash, right? That's cleaving to these words and giving you ears to hear. Because before we had a spiritual blockage where we could not hear the words of Yahawah Shem Al Shai. Jake was very hard at listening. Right, let me get a side precept from what Paul said in the book of Acts, the 17th chapter. This is a good example. It's a good one. A good one. This is Acts 17, and I'm going to go straight to the point, verse 11. This is about the Berea, the people in Berea. These were more noble than than those in Thessalonica, in that they received the word with all readiness of mind, searched the scriptures daily, whether those things were so. So this is in the time of Roman captivity. Now we in Roman 2.0. The believers are having a readiness of mind to hear the word. They either walking past the prophets, not even walking, they walking up to the prophets, hearing the word, or they watching the videos, right? They watching the live, or they watching the pre-recorded, the premiere videos, or a lesson that already been uploaded, right? Or they having like a one-on-one conversation, right? So they hearing the word, they're asking questions like Yahawashi did in the book of Luke, chapter 2, verse 49. Wait, not 49, I believe, verses up, where he was asking and answering questions. So the believers is hearing, having a readiness. They're ready to hear the word. Sometimes they got their notebooks out. They got their phone notepad out to get those precepts that brothers is bringing out. And even more, they get in the YouTube channel. It says, and they search the scriptures daily. So now that they being taught, they re-going over the scriptures daily to see if it was so. Every time where brothers like, man, you always bringing the same verses. We've been doing this since the beginning of time, right? In the Babylonian captivity, they was bringing out the law and the Psalms, and whatever prophet was teaching, He was speaking the words of the Lord. Then later on in the Maccabees, they had the law, the Psalms, and the prophets. In the Roman captivity, they had the law, the Psalms, and the prophets. And then after this falling away, things got established. And now we're in a time where we got the volume of the book, right? So now we're able to read, physically read, without somebody having a spirit of the Lord or a vision teaching his word. Now the Lord is speaking through us through his word and the prophets, right? So we got the law, the Psalms, the prophets, and the gospel, right? Of course, in between that, you got the Apocrypha, but that's the whole volume of the book, right? So the Lord increased this side. Let me get 2nd Esdras, the 15th chapter real quick, right? Esdras chapter 15, in verse 1, it says, "Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy." And you find prophecies in the law, in the Psalms, in the prophets, even in Apocrypha. Ezra is a beautiful book, and in the Gospels, and in the letters of Paul, in the revelations of John the Revelator. It's prophecies throughout the whole book. And some of the prophecies in the New is the same almost in the Old, but they expound it in a deeper way or in a different way. In the Old Testament, they were expounding or speaking on these prophecies in a different way, right? 2nd Esdras 14 show you when the Lord had Ezra speaking of the fourth beast, Rome. He said he expounded to him different than Daniel, but it was dealing with the same beast. He told Daniel to expound. He went a little deeper, right? Go read it. 2nd Esdras chapter 11 and 12, right? So speak in the ear of my people the words of prophecy. This is not because all nations on the earth are peoples. He said people, right? So this is one people, and I will put it in which I will put in thy mouth, saith Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. So the men of the Lord are going to speak prophecies, and it's going to be the Lord putting it in you to speak prophecies, right? When you see some men that's only teaching the law, the Lord didn't put in them to bring forth to speak on prophecies, right? Like some men that say they in this truth, they say I'm not doomsday prophets. The Lord didn't put that on their spirit. So, some men in this thing are doomsday prophets, right? Where they speak about everything, right? Unsaturated, unprotected, straight raw. WWE raw, or just raw. This is SmackDown. Verse 2, it says, "It calls them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true." And the believers are believing in this word because it's faithful and true. And it's written on paper, man. Right? So now he gave us a heart, a mind to perceive, to receive this word, and ears to hear it. Right? Which in the routine of the believers, they're gonna daily try to hear the words of the Lord. Like when you hear the little story or parable, or really the story about Martha and Mary. Mary was learning the word at the feet of Yahawashi through the Spirit. All the believers are learning the word under the feet of Hamashiach Yahawashi through his prophets, right? Through the prophets, because the prophets come and walk as Yahawashi. Let's get that real quick before we go back to Baruch. 1 John chapter 2 and verse 6. It says, "He that saith he abideth in him, ought himself also so to walk, even as he walked." Right? Our Lord and Savior, right? He was a minister of other people. So the men of the Lord, if they abide in him, if they remain in his truth, they're going to do the same thing as he has done. Minister the word, right? In a longer, because Yahawashi was speaking the gospel, and that goes in multiple ways. So now the men of the Lord are speaking the gospel in multiple ways. The gospel to the nations, their judgment, the gospel to the 2/3, and the gospel to the elect, right? Of them getting deliverance in the destruction of Edom, right? That is part of the gospel. That's the good news. That's good tidings, right? So back to Baruch, chapter 2, verse 32. "And they shall praise me in the land of their captivity and think upon my name," right? The first thought that they're thinking, wait, now that I'm growing in this knowledge, J's was created in this time. Because now when you start getting a spirit, you start thinking of deeper things. Like, wait, hold on. When I just searched something, And it said J's was not created until 1504 or 1524. So if J's wasn't created then what is Jesus' real name? Then if that's not his real name and his name is Yahawashi, if I go seek it in the Paleo-Hebrew, which was the Hebrew Israelites' first language, then what was the Heavenly Father's name if it's not Lord and God, right? So then we're going to find that the Lord told Moses, and we take that word, the Lord, in all capitals, take it back to Paleo-Hebrew, it's going to say Yahawah. And then now they're praising his name like, oh, I got his name. I know the Lord's name now. So now we were thinking of the name. What is his name? Now that we got his name, we're thinking of his name even more. What does Yahawah mean? He is. He's to be. What does Yahawashi name mean? Right? He saves. He delivers. So we're thinking on many levels, man. Right? Let me get that in 1 Corinthians, because in a deep sense, if people say, the Spirit of the Lord is in me, you still saying Jesus or Yeshua, the Spirit of the Lord is not in you, right? Because this right here is the example of that. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 10. But God hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit, for the Spirit search all things, yet deep things of God. The deep things, one of the deep things is the real name of the Heavenly Father and the Son. People would say Yeshua is his real name, but that goes back to modern Hebrew or Yahweh, which stems from Latin, which they'll even say Hebrew, modern Hebrew, but it all stems from Latin. Paleo goes into ancient Hebrew. So what's more recent? Modern, but what's older? Paleo, ancient. So when you want to say the ancient name, because the Israelites is an ancient nation, just like the Edomites is an ancient nation. Elam is an ancient nation. Especially when you got the Spirit of the Lord searching deep things. We know the Chinaman is not the Chinaman. He has to pertain to the wash pot in the scripture, which is Moab. He's the best foot washer, nail cleaner. That's who we would call the Chinese, right? Verse 11, for what man knoweth the things of a man, save the spirit of man which is in him? Even so the things of God knoweth no man but the Spirit of God. So you got to have the Rakak Wadash, not the Ruach, the Rakak Wadash, the Holy Spirit of the Lord, to be able to decipher the scriptures, because it's written in code, right? It's written in a code that has to be deciphered, right? Because this thing is not given to many, right? And we can back that up with scriptures. Go to 2nd Esdras. Let's back that up with scriptures real quick to show that the scriptures is not given to everybody, right? 2nd Esdras, the 14th chapter, dealing with Esdras rewriting the book over again through the hands of 5 men, right? Honorable men that's with him while he speak these words, right? So this is 2nd Esdras, the 14th chapter, verse 45. And it came to pass, when the 40 days were fulfilled, that the highest spake, saying, the first that thou hast written, publish openly, that the worthy and the unworthy may read. So it's things in the scriptures that worthy believers, Israelites, can get it, and unworthy people, like unworthy Israelites, even Edomites, that's unworthy, right? I got a video of Edomites saying, we're the descendants of Esau. Things got changed because of the people of my nations screwed everything up. The real people, the real chosen people of the Lord are the black people. Some of them say the black Latinos and natives, but this video, they just talk about blacks, right? How they know, right? Then you got other nations, a woman, I think, a Midianite woman that's living in the East, had a video on TikTok saying, the Jews, you got to come back to the Lord, man. We need you, right? Because the world is ruled by wicked people. We need you to come back to your God, right? You got heathens that know who the Israelites is, man, right? So you got the worthy and unworthy. Worthy is going into the righteous or the just of Israel. The unworthy can go in the unjust of Israel, the 2/3, and the other nations. Because again, there's other nations reading this book too, that some can understand this and get this, but then some of them is butchering it or misquoting or misrepresenting the word, right? Because they're unworthy to teach it, because the word is coded, right? So now verse 46, it says, but keep the 70 last, that thou mayest deliver them only to such as be wise among them. Who are the wise? The wise are considered the apostles, the prophets, the evangelists, the teachers, right? Ephesians 4, verse 11 to 13. The Lord left us some apostles, some prophets, some evangelists, some teachers, some pastors to teach this word for the edifying, right, or the unity of the faith in Yahawashi. Unity to bring us together in oneness, one mind, sound doctrine. Paul said, let there be no division, right? But through the left-hand side spirit, the Lord allowed division because the Lord is trying to separate the unworthy from the worthy. You have unworthy Israelites saying Yahawah Shema Shai, and in their heart, they're not of the elect. They're not of the faithful. Because it was the same as with the Pharisees and Sadducees. They're Israelites. They know somewhat of the truth, but they're really not of the truth because Yahawashi was a stumbling block. Right? That's a beautiful example of the unworthy. Right? So again, you go to Psalms 25:14, it says the secret is revealed to those that fear Yahawah Shem Yahawashi. That starts with the wise men, the elect, going all the way down in the order of apostles, of prophets, evangelists, even the elders, right? So Salaki, I forgot to mention them, but for those that's in this truth, you know what I meant. The elders is part of the being the apostles, the prophets, the evangelists, the teachers of this word, man, right? So again, 2nd Esdras 14, verse 47, it says, for in them is the spring of understanding, the fountain of wisdom, and the stream of knowledge. Only the wise have the true wisdom, knowledge, and understanding because the Spirit of the Lord is in them to get the deep things. This is why brothers say, let me ask you, the wise men are not using this teaching for debating because as we know it's one-sided. The wise men is not going back and forth with a heathen in a contentious way. Now, it could, it was multiple heathen that just walked past. Some over there, because I'm downtown. They taking pictures. Some of them probably tourists, right? They walking past. So if they was to come here, I got to be at peace with all men because the gospel is for them too. And hey, you never know, they can be a Jake. So, the wise man is not bringing strife in this thing. As soon as it come to strife, hey, brother, sister, just keep it moving, right? You're not getting it, so it's okay. Then we move on. Or if they can't handle it, you move somewhere else. The wise men is not making the ministry have blame. They're not making a debate. They're not trying to make money off of this thing, right? Because it's all about teaching. And right now, the time that we're in the end time. So that means if we're in the end time, when you line up prophecies, it's only about the elect. So truly, if I'm teaching, I'm only here for the elect. So it was some Jake that just drove past. Some of them slowed down that drove past. Some of them getting at the bus because I'm at 4. I'm at 4 major bus stops downtown, right? So none of them is stopping. I'm not about to say, hey, brother, come hear the word, because they can hear me. They see me in the Bible. They hear me saying the Lord. They hear me saying Yahawah Shema Shai. They hear it. Can't force this word. The Spirit got to be in them. They got to draw them in this thing. Just like Paul was drawn to Damascus, and it was all by the Lord, just to blind him, to persecute him. I mean, not really to persecute him, but to talk to him and afflict him by being blind, and then later on healing him by Ananias, and now he's able to see, and now he's teaching the gospel. That was all by the Lord, right? The Lord was manipulating Paul to go to Damascus just so that can be fulfilled, right? So that's what the Lord does to everybody else, manipulate them to hear the word. If they do, all praise to Yahawah Shema Shai. But if they don't, all praise to Yahawah Shema Shai. The Lord manipulate men and women to watch the lives, right? It might be, you might be doing something like, you know what? I need to make myself to be watching this. Maybe I'm busy. Let me put the Spirit of the Lord in the house. Somewhat I'm going to be listening because I'm paying attention to this. You press and play. Guess what? That's the Lord. Somebody might watch this later. Oh, that's Yahawah Shem Yahawashi. The Lord is setting up the believers to hear this word, to make a haste to get that understanding, man. Right? So again, the wise getting the wisdom, knowledge, understanding that lines with St. John, the 7th chapter, verse 37, which out of their belly is going to flow ever living water, which is this wisdom, knowledge, understanding. And he said he spake of the Spirit. So truly, when the word's coming out, it's really a spirit moving in them. And how do we know it's a spirit moving? They go into deep things. You can see their mannerism, where they're not in this thing to debate. They're not in this thing for arguments. They're not in this thing, oh yeah, no, I'm teaching. Let me bag all these girls because I'm a man of the Lord. Nah, the men of the Lord is natural in this thing. They're not trying to be in this thing for clout, right? It could be nobody watching. It could be 2 people like it is, or it could be people, because you can go on YouTube and not click a video and still just watch it because it's right there and right on the main screen, right? You could watch without clicking it. Just click the unmute button. And it could be people watching. It could be people watching it later. But it's all about you teaching the word, the Lord watching you, and the Lord is going to bring it to wherever it has to go, right? The wise men is letting the Lord move them, man, right? So, Lord willing, y'all got that. So again, Baruch chapter 2, verse 32, and they shall praise me in the land of their captivity and think upon my name, right? It says, in return from their stiff neck, which only the believers is doing that on their side. Yes, we still have moments where we slip and we still connected to those stiff neck ways. But if you are of a believer in the elect, like the apostles say, right, and it's in scriptures, the elect can never be removed out this truth. The elect is not so-called taking breaks. It might look like a break, but the elect are not taking breaks, right? They're not going to be removed. They're not going to say, oh, I don't know what to teach, right? The elect is not doing this thing for entertainment, for show. They doing this with a serious spirit, with an all stern, being angry, being confident, right? So they left their stiff neck, right? It says, and from their wicked deeds, for they shall remember the way of their fathers, which sinned before Yahawashi. Is a lesson I did earlier, which I said, give time to read it. I only did that for motivation for myself and anybody else because I had to get into my reading. You know, when I'm not at work, I'm able to get into that hard physical reading. And I say hard because I get to read multiple chapters instead of 1, instead of 2. I get to do at least, I do 7, do 12. Sometimes I might do a little more, and I can add more lessons, and I can be more serious about what I'm bringing out, right? Even when I'm not, even when I am working, I'm still able, you know, to hear the word, just like we did in the days of old, where everybody had the scrolls and you had to hear somebody teach the word. I'm watching lessons. I'm watching lessons, and I'm watching, you know, the app bring out the word too, where I can pause it and go look up scriptures. But that was motivation for all, Jake. Give time to read it. You give time for your loved ones in your house, your children. It doesn't matter if it's 5, 15, 30 minutes that you give to your household, but that's still time that you gave to them, right? It might, you might give 30, an hour, 4 hours, 5 hours to do your own thing. First talking to the brothers, right? Because most women, they should be in order and they should be in their dang house, because there's nothing out here for you, right? But still at the end, even if a woman is doing her enjoyment, taking the kids' hair, you know, I'm about to go to the nail salon, you're giving time to the Lord, because there's so many times that we give time to ourselves, right? You want to give time to the Lord. So that's the main focus when you give time to reading, right? For us to leave our stiff-necked ways, right, to remember the ways of our Father, we got to be reading. You got to be hearing the words of the Lord, right? Revelations 1 and 3. Blessed is he that heareth the word. Blessed is he that readeth the word and heareth the prophecies and do them. You got to hear somebody teach these prophecies to even get it, right? And you got to be reading this word to even be blessed, right? And you want to make it a diligent thing, right? Verse 34, it says, and I will bring them again into the land which I promised them with an oath unto their fathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All nations don't descend from Jacob. When it say Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that's really just speaking about that chosen bloodline. But after it say Jacob, no other nation comes from Jacob. So this is talking about the physical people. It says, and they shall be lords of it, and I will increase them, and they shall not be diminished. Right? So when we go to 1 Chronicles 16, who was given the covenant, the oath, the law, and the everlasting covenant? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and the descendants of Jacob, the 12 tribes of Israel, man. Right? And it says that he will bring them again to their land. Right? That land of Israel, which now Esau calling it the state of Israel, is really the land of Israel, really supposed to be the kingdom of Israel. Right? That land was only given to the Israelites, man. The land of Canaan was only given to the Israelites, no other nation, right? The other nations through looking in scriptures, all nations have their own possession of land, right? So even when we went up earlier to verse 26, it says, for the wickedness of the house of Israel and the house of Judah. So from verse 26 to 35, which we were going to continue reading, is speaking about the house of Israel and the house of Judah going back to their land, right? Let me just get this history precept real quick. Let's not make this point too long, right? So First Chronicles, the 16th chapter, and I'm going to start at verse 13. It says, O ye seed of Israel, his servant, ye children of Jacob, his chosen ones. The other nations was never the chosen ones, right? Unless they're Israelites. It says, he is Yahawah, our power. His judgments are in all the earth. Be ye mindful always of his covenant, the word which he commanded to 1,000 generations, even of the covenant which he made with Abraham, and of his oath unto Isaac, and have confirmed the same to Jacob for a law, and to Israel for an everlasting covenant, right? That everlasting covenant don't go to all nations. It only go to the Israelites, those that are dispersed four corners of the earth. We speaking about not the time now, because Jake that scattered four corners of the earth, after each generation came, Judges 2 and 10, they did not know the ways. They did not know Bahasham or his ways. They didn't even know who they was, because Israel was removed from remembrance, right, by the hand of Esau, but really by Yahawashi. Now the Lord is bringing back that knowledge. Now we know who those people is, right? This is the point, verse 18, saying unto thee, will I give the land of Canaan, the lot of your inheritance. So the land of Canaan was given to Abraham, given down to his heir, not Ishmael, because Sarai said, remove him, because I don't want to have part in my son's inheritance. And Abraham had 8 other sons. They didn't even get a part of Isaac's inheritance. Then you got Isaac descendants, which is Esau and Jacob. Esau got Mount Seir, Basra, Petra. He didn't get Israel, near the south of Judah, man. Right? So that is even another example that everybody got their inheritance, but it shows Israel's inheritance is the land of Canaan, but really the four main rivers that surround Israel, right? One of them being the Nile all the way to the Euphrates. Go look at the map and you can see the founding rivers, but it's the Nile into the Euphrates. That all belongs to Israel, but the whole world is for their sakes, right? Shalom to the brother Ephraim Ban Yasharala Yahawah Shemashai Barakatah, right? Lord willing and peace is with you. So this land of Canaan was promised unto them. What did the Lord, I think is Genesis 12, the Lord told Abraham to leave his kindred, his father, leave his land, leave his people, and go to a land I'm going to give to you and your descendants. So we can't add other people to a salvation, because part of that salvation means getting back your land. Oh, no, hold on. The other nations getting salvation, which is getting delivered, but they're not getting the land of Israel. That don't make sense. So when we speak about salvation, you have to use it for the direct point that it's for. Salvation is for Israel getting saved, right? And we have a beautiful example in Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 2, a strange salvation. All nations not getting a strange salvation, right? 2 Kings chapter 2, verse 10 to 12, or 10 to 11, which it talks about when Elisha seen Elijah get beamed up in the horses of fire or the chariots of Israel. How can a nation get that salvation if the chariots are the chariots of Israel, right? So let's keep on going. So now we see that these people in Baruch 2 and 34 is going to get back their land that was promised to them. For the ones that's simple, you get it. For the ones that don't get it, this is not for you, right? It's not for you, right? Because right before I did this live, there's a brother on TikTok, which he say that, you know, the black Hebrew Israelites teach a false doctrine. We know you false, because you keep calling us black Hebrew Israelites, and anybody that's fully talking this thing is not saying we're black Hebrew Israelites, right? And I can only speak for who I'm under, the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and I believe there's other congregations that say we're Hebrew Israelites. But anybody teaching black Hebrew Israelites, right, and pushing that, right, you off, right? So anybody saying that the Black Hebrew Israelite doctrine is off, whoever saying that, yeah, they off. But those that saying Hebrew Israelites, that this is only for them, they're not off. Every nation want to save everybody, but if we was to take all this back in time and physical slavery, no Jake would say all nations would be saved. We were pushed that type of doctrine, but when Jake had common sense, when you was getting your ass beat, I highly doubt you was thinking of the white man being saved. I highly doubt you was thinking of the Chinaman, because before any of them came over here, the Southern and Northern Kingdom was working their ass off before you could say the Chinaman. But every Jake on this side talk about the white, they first say that white people gonna get saved and then all the other nations. But in physical slavery, none of y'all was saying that. But now you can go to the store, go into the same bathroom, no whites, then this and that. Now you want to say all nations get saved? You guys do not understand, and then you say that and don't teach the Bible the correct way. You want to go to where you want to go, and then you say we cherry picking, right? The brother Ephraim Ben Yasharallah put 2 Corinthians 4:3. But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost. In the NLT, it said it is hidden from those that are perishing, right? Guess what? That is the example for the 2/3 and the example for the other nations, because this gospel is hidden from. They're going to perish. That when that World War III, right? Jacob trouble, World War III, Yahawashi come, they're going to be destroyed, man. Majority of them. Some of them going to be reserved, because in order for us to have our kingdom, we need servants, right? So you 2/3 Jakes and you other nations, you can't get this. You know, I can't really stop y'all from teaching, because it's meant to happen. This is all the Lord, because you got to have unbelievers and believers. You got to have people that's attracted to 28:19. What's his name? Philip Mitchell. Anthony, this man said Jesus was not black, but he was an ethnic Jew and he was bronze. But then finish the verse where it says he was bronze but burnt in the furnace. He was a black man, but even if he's bronze, that's still black. Don't you know, with some black brothers and sisters that got that bronze caramel, like a dark caramel color, lighter than me, you know, or my color? Come on, man. And most of the time, if you watch his video, he'll bring out a verse, and then most of the time he just talking. We're bringing out multiple things, let alone we reading down. Then we about to go somewhere else and go into verses, man. And we gonna even fact check something if we need be. Right? I'm with the physical, and I got the electronic Bible, man. Come on, man. So now we got that this land is for Israel. You can go to other ones, but we gonna keep that short. Verse 35. Verse 34 down, I mean, really, from 30 down, that really went into all captivities. But in this time, all of this is going to be fulfilled, because the southern and northern kingdom and Babylon wasn't together. The Greek captivity wasn't together. The Roman captivity wasn't together. So that's taking place, Jeremiah 50 and 33. Judah and Israel were oppressed together. That was in ancient Egypt and this modern day Egypt. Right? This Roman 2.0. Right? This Babylon the Great, daughter of Babylon. They're in captivity together. Right? So this is a future prophecy this man's speaking. How he speaking about the northern kingdom? They not fully with him. Verse 35, it says, I will make an everlasting covenant with them to be their power. We just read who the everlasting covenant was. It was given from Abraham, Isaac to Jacob to the 12 tribes of Israel. Right? It says, and they shall be my people, and I will no more drive my people of Israel. He just directed who he was talking about. The people of Israel, the people of the land, the people of the promise, the people of the covenant, out of the land that I have given them. That land wasn't given to no other nation. Right? Let's get something else. So now that we got that, Lord willing, we can remember what we getting into. Right? Let's go to 2nd Ezra, the 6th chapter. Right? We getting a little crispy now. Right? This is 2nd Ezra, the 6th chapter. Salaki, I want to get to the point. This is 2nd Ezra. You know what? Let me go to the 5th chapter first. Let's talk about the things that the Lord loves, so we can establish. Really, we getting a shotgun. This is a shotgun right here, right? This is 2nd Esdras, the 5th chapter, starting at verse 24. But I think this is the G and T. I believe, yeah, this is the G and T, I believe. Right, yeah, this is the G and T. So I'm gonna get my handy dandy electronic Bible. Salaki, I said electronical. Digital Bible. You can get the digital Bible, the Apocrypha. 2nd Esdras chapter 5 in verse 24. I'll start at verse 23. And said, O Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, that bearest rule of every wood of the earth, and of all the trees thereof, thou hast chosen the one only vine. Who is that vine? Yahawashi, right? Let's see if we can clear that up real quick, right? I believe it's this chapter we want. This is St. Matthew chapter 15, verse 1 in red letters. Yahawashi speaking, I am the true vine. My Father is the husbandman. Right? So Yahawashi is the true vine. That's that only vine. Verse 24, and of all the lands, 2nd Esdras 5:24, and of all the lands of the whole world, thou hast chosen the one pit. Pit is another meaning for land. So he's chosen one pit, one land, and of all the flowers thereof, one lily, and of all the depths of the sea, thou hast filled the one river, the Jordan, and of all builded cities, thou hast hallowed Zion unto thyself, Zion being the land of the children of Israel. It says, and of all the fowls that are created, thou hast named the one dove, and of all the cattle that are made, thou hast provided the one sheep, right? Which is synonymous with Yahawashi and symbolic to the 12 tribes of Israel because they're sheep, right? Really the elect. Verse 27, and among all the multitudes of people, thou hast gotten the one people. He said, out of the multitude, and then a lot of people can't comprehend, and a lot of people say, as soon as you bring these things out, wait, hold on, the Apocrypha ain't scripture. No, let's stick into the old, into the law, the Psalms, and the prophets, and only the gospel. Let's not go to the Apocrypha. Well, I'm not under you, right? I'm under the men that's bringing sound doctrine, 100% truth out of the whole Bible to 1611. So we subscribe to the Apocrypha, and this right here shows who really believe in the Lord, right? So out of all the multitude of people, 18 nations the Lord created. Genesis, the 10th chapter, right? 18 nations. Out of all the multitude of people, thou hast gotten the one people. So out of 18 nations is one people he gotten. And unto this people who thou lovest, we can go in the scriptures, he only loved one nation. And his love is an intimate love, right? Thou gavest a law that is approved of all. That's one form of the Lord loving us, right? Giving you a law that he didn't give no other nation. Psalms 147, verse 19 and 20. 2nd Esdras, the 3rd chapter, in verse 35. Right? Only the land of Israel kept his precepts. Only, the law was only given to Jacob, given to Israel, his servant. Right? People don't want to deal with the whole Bible. They just want to stay in the gospel. But Yahawashi said he comes in the volume of the book. The volume of the book, if you understand, and this is another thing with Christians, they say that brothers go to the Old Testament, but then say the tabernacle, the law, the sacrifice, that was all a preview or a shadow of Yahawashi. You go into Hebrews, in order to know the tabernacle, the priesthood, the most holiest place, you got to go into the Old Testament to actually fully fact check and know that that is true. You can't just take the New Testament and not understand that they're referencing the law, the Psalms, and the prophets, even the Apocrypha, man. So that means you got to go on this whole thing. That's another example to know that they're not in the spirit of Yahawashi. Let alone you got to go into prophecies and they're not in the spirit of Yahawashi, who comes in the whole volume of the book. Plain and simple, right? He said, I'll get that precept, which we were just in there. Let's go back to Baruch chapter 2. Let's get that verse that the brother put. Baruch 2 and 35, it says, I will make an everlasting covenant with them to be their power and they shall be my people, right? So out of a multitude of people, he got one people that he loveth, and he gave him a law, and I will no more drive my people of Israel out of the land that I have given them. So he called the people by name, Israel. That's our real name. Why you think we call ourselves Hebrew Israelites? The one dude said, I don't call myself Hebrew Israelite, I just say I'm an Israelite. But you don't understand why we say that, because and through the spirit and in hyphens your ancient language. Hebrew, because of the language, that the first given language, really the language of the Lord is Hebrew. That's a above language. You go into prolongs of Sirach, anything spoken as original language have a stronger effect, right? If you say it in Greek, it's not going to have a stronger effect like it will in Hebrew. So if you go into a Greek word, you can find out what it is in Hebrew, right? Go read the prolongs of Sirach. Don't take my word for it, right? So he gave us a law that is above all. And now, O Lord, why hast thou given this one people over unto many? So the one people of Israel, even all nations is everywhere, but when you look at the Bible in the right way, all Israel is given to all nations, four corners of the earth. This is a question. And upon one root hast thou prepared others, and why hast thou scattered thy only one people among many? Right? Because we have sinned. Right? Because we have sinned. We have turned our back from Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, his commands, his laws, his statutes and commandments. That's why this happened. The brother put, La Shawan Quadash, right? The Paleo Hebrew, right? I'm not super fluent with saying Hebrew as well. I got to say things multiple times, right? So just bear with me. So now we read that to show that the Lord loves certain things. So if he loved all nations, why he didn't put this in there? He said out of the multitude of people, he loved his one people. Right there, that's plain. Now let's go to 2nd Ezra, the 6th chapter, and let's go to this point. This is the Lord Salaki. Why am I forgetting this thought? Salaki, family, I'm forgetting the thought again. Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi placed Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi is putting everything in place. So us coming back to the name, us praising him, us turning back to the ways of the Lord, like a sidebar, like I heard Deacon and them talk about the Shabbat, right? And they were saying that if you're doing the lunar, and say if you don't call off, you going off. But then Jake can say other things because we in captivity, right? The Lord don't say go get a date. They talking about they make a document to go give to their oppressors. We still in captivity. If Esau want to say they don't accept your joint and then let you go, Jake gonna say, okay, if they let me go, I'm just gonna get another job, which you can. But the Lord didn't put that in scriptures that we have to go get this the scripture. You have to know we in captivity, right? And if I'm doing the lunar, so not every week I'm gonna be able to fully fulfill the Shabbat because I'm going to work. You know, I'm going to work. You know, and yes, it's off that we got to work on the Shabbat, but again, you are in captivity. We're not going to be able to do these things the best of our ability. The Lord knows the system that we in, right? But it's days that it falls on that you're able to fully do it, right? When brothers say, man, the spirit not with you, we'll know when brothers is off, because then you start slacking on your duty and your work. You don't have the drive out of nowhere to go do a lesson, right? Brothers that's moving in the way, being circumspect, being cautious, doing the best that you can for the Lord, right? And he knows in the spirit if you're doing your best, right, that you'll move in a different way, man. You know, you're not, the prophets of the Lord are not being seen for being a celebrity. We get that in the kingdom. They're going to be hated. They're not all, the real prophets of the Lord is not going to be loved by everybody except for true believers. Right? The brother said, I'm following lunar too, right? And is everybody not going to be able, right? Maybe your job might have a certain slack where you able to actually be off. Hey, the Lord bless you with that job. Some of us not. And I'm not just going to blame because I got to provide for my house and them, right? But I got to know the state If I'm in the union, my job not about to accept that. Let alone I'm not about to trust in that, because I got a paper that say I'm a Jewish because of the Sabbath. Guess what? Now you got to word play it different and say you Jewish. I'm not Jewish. I'm a Jew. Then that's gonna put a whole bunch of attention on you at your job, right? You gonna be a target. Soon as something jump off, your job already target you, and that's already giving an invitation of who you is. Most of the men of the Lord is being more secretive because they keeping work, and keeping what we do for the Lord separate from work. Because everybody at work don't need to know what you're doing, especially your boss, right? Because it's brothers that lost their job because of this truth, right? Gotta be circumspect. I just had to say that because I heard what I heard, right? So, Salaki, Lord willing, you got it. For those that got it, they got it. 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 54, it says, after these things, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all. So all 18 nations come through Adam. And the people also whom thou hast chosen. There go that word chosen again. And it says people, just like it says 2nd Ezra, the 5th chapter, right? It says, all this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes. When he says our sakes, Esdras is an Israelite. He's a priest. So he's speaking on behalf of the Israelites. The Lord made the world for our sakes, right? That's why Limitations, the 4th chapter, we over here buying water, and our wood is sold unto us. The trees grow naturally, and water is just in the earth. We're paying for both of those things, man. In the world, it was made for your sake. We in captivity, man. It says, as for the other people which also come from Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing but to be like unto spittle. That's what the nations is. It has likened the abundance of them that drop, abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. And now, O Lord, beholdest these heathen, which have ever been reputed as nothing, have begun to be lords over us and to devour us. What do it mean they become to be lords? Kings, rulers. So that means we in captivity. Especially you get an example when you're paying taxes or you giving tribute to another nation. Another way to know you in captivity is that the true children of Israel is not in their land. They're not ruling the earth. They're under other laws and subjugation. Just because I can go get a job, I can make $300, $800, right? You live in paycheck to paycheck, or if you're a celebrity, right? That goes back into Rome. In Israel, Jake wasn't building their life off of being a damn celebrity. You know the top position in this thing? Yes, it was a king, but being a prophet, being a priest, evangelist of the Lord. Because who did kings run to? They went to the priests. They went to the visionaries. They went to the apostles for the word, right? Because the Lord used you as his mouthpiece. You know, kings rule over things and they put down legislation and order and laws, but the prophets are supposed to speak, thus saith the Lord. That is a desired position, right? So these nations is devouring us because of what? Right? Let's get something real quick in the book of Judith, the 5th chapter. This is the book of Judith, the 5th chapter. We're going to read one verse, verse 20. Right? Because this stems for us having salvation. Right? It says, now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error against this people, and they sin against their power, let us consider that this shall be their ruin. Let us go up, and we shall overcome them. So you can tell that our nation is still under sin, because the nations is still devouring us, but let alone prophecies have to come to pass, because the Lord is placing things in order. But 2/3 of Jake is still sinning. 2/3 of Jake is turning their back to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, and they doing it daily. Let's go into the book of Romans. I know y'all know where I'm going. Romans, the 11th chapter. Let's just get straight to the point. Romans 11, verse 11. Romans 11, verse 7. It says, what then? Israel will not have attained that which they seek it for? Not all Israel is going to obtain what they seek it for, but the election have obtained it, and the rest were blinded. because they're going to perish, right? The ones that are part of the election is the elect, which is a few, right? A small number. They have obtained it, because what is they doing? They're seeking the Lord, right? Let's actually get that. What is it? 2 Chronicles 15. Let's get that. It said they're seeking. They're basically seeking the Lord. Let's get something for that, because this word we're gonna be looking at in the Chronicles, the 2 Chronicles, the 15th chapter. This word is Yarash. Yarash in the Hebrew, right? This is 2 Chronicles chapter 15 verse 13. It says that whosoever would not seek Yahawah, power of Israel, should be put to death, whether small or great, or whether man or woman, right? Only the elect is actually doing the Yarash, right? Yarash is Paleo Hebrew, going into seek, or to sought out the Lord, right? How is they seeking the Lord? By investigating the scriptures to see if it was so, seeking the teachings of Moses, the prophets before, right? The law, the Psalms, the prophets, and Apocrypha, and in the gospel, and the letters of Paul, and in Revelations. They're seeking those things out. They're investigating the matter. Then things that they don't know, Acts the 8th chapter, verse 26, they're asking the prophets to guide them, right? I might not even ask the prophets to guide me. I might just go right on YouTube and watch a lesson that the elders is doing. It might be something I do know to sharpen me up, because they might be bringing out other points, right? They might even go into another translation, or it might be a lesson that a precept I don't know. Oh, snap, damn, I need that. Or they going into a lesson I need help at. Right there and then, the Spirit of the Lord is crying unto him. I think that's Romans, the 8th chapter. Wait, Romans. Let me make sure, because I don't want to quote the wrong one. Yeah, Romans the 8th chapter. Your spirit is giving intercession unto the Lord on your behalf. And, you might be drawn to a video that your spirit is asking that you might need, right? And you're growing in the spirit, man, right? So sometimes you wake up, you reading this chapter, or you wake up and you watching videos, you watching breakdowns, right? That's all either by you praying or your spirit praying, because man's going to the Lord. The Lord is calling his elect that's actually seeking him and investigating. Why are you spending 2, 3, 4, 5 hours studying? Right? You might be going to the scriptures for this amount of time, then you're going into history books. You might be given an hour, 2, 3 hours to watching videos. Shoot, you might stop and meditate on the verse, right? What's causing you to do that, right? That's the spirit within you, because it's connected to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, and the elect want to learn. They want to get edified, get builded up, right? And the elect is not getting builded up on one point. They're not getting builded up on prosperity doctrine, right? They're not getting builded up on entertainment or debates. They're getting edified with every lesson, every breakdown of the doctrine of the Lord, right? It doesn't matter if it's reincarnation, right? Salvation, dealing with the point of giants, the spiritual realm, to the best of, because we can only teach as much as we can only go into the scriptures as much as we can, because not everything is fully in there, right? Speaking about the kingdom, doctrine on the other nations, right? What nation don't deserve to be a nation? Wait, why is Esau this way? Why the Lord set this up, right? Dealing with missiles, arrows. Are they missiles? Are they arrows? Going into scriptures about what is a prophecy. How can you understand it? How do you know who a prophet and who not? Right? You're trying to learn so many things to build yourself up. Only the elect is doing that. We just read 2 Chronicles 15:13. Whosoever is not seeking the Lord, investigating the Lord. Go look up the word Yarash. Go in the blue letter and look up that word seek. 2 Chronicles 15:13. It goes into multiple examples, but the master one is investigating, right? You're investigating the scriptures. Any verse I brought out, you write them down, and then you go relook and guess what you're doing? You're investigating what a brother said just to see if it was so. And if your spirit Your spirit is bearing witness what is being brought out. Guess what? Come on, man. It's up from here. The elect is just keep growing and keep growing, right? So if you're not seeking the Lord, you're going to be put to death, man. That's why it's very important that brothers continue to teach if you are a teacher of the Lord, right? Lord willing. So now, he's putting everything into place. So Jake is seeking the Lord. That's part of us getting deliverance, because we gotta seek the Lord. How we gonna get deliverance if we not seeking the Lord? The Lord is putting that spirit on you, right? So let's get that too. I'm trying to deal with both of the topics to the best of my ability, right? So you might hear me talk to myself so that I can give a summary of what was already brought out. So this is St. John. We'll just go to this point. St. John 14, starting at 16, it says, "And I will pray the Father, and he shall give you another comforter, that he may abide with you forever." The comforter is the Ruach HaKodesh. In the English, the Holy Spirit, even the Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive. Who is truth? Yahawashi. And truly, the Spirit of truth is the Spirit of Yahawashi, mainly going into prophecies, right? Apostle Gabar did a lesson on 7 things to know that you're in the Spirit, or you have the Spirit, right? To get a quick understanding. When brothers bringing it out, you understanding it quickly. You're like, oh man, that's making sense. Like sometimes, I hear from with my wives or something where they say, man, I got what you saying, but you was going here and there. But even going here and there, if your spirit bear witness with these scriptures or what's being brought out, your spirit going to recognize everything that's brought out. When I hear Apostle Tahir bring it out, he be going here and going here and going here, and I be like, damn, this sound like me. But every time he bring it out, I understand what he's saying from this point to this point to this point, and he brings it back home, and it's all making sense. Because your spirit is going to bear witness what is the truth and what is not. When somebody going here and going here and going here, and it's just not adding up to what he said here, and then he changed it here, and it said something else, you're like, wait, hold on. I was getting you, but then it wasn't making sense, and then you changed the topic, you went here, and that wasn't making sense. And then the last one, I almost was getting it, and then you said, now I don't get it. Guess what? That man ain't giving no understanding. The understanding has to be clear. It doesn't matter what point you go into, right? So if I'm speaking about the Lord putting everything in place, right? Speaking about the children of Israel deliverance, if I'm speaking about Israel getting builded up, the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding is in the earth, right? They seeking the Lord by investigating the scriptures. I would have to go into these precepts to show the example of Jake growing in the spirit, getting the precepts, understanding prophecies, what this says, what this is, and what that isn't. If you hear me going into prophecy to give it a sense, that is the example of Jake going into their deliverance. Because to start your deliverance, you have to know what that is, right? You can be spiritually delivered from the whitewash. That's what the men of the Lord is here for, to pulling down the strongholds, right? That's another what the Comforter is doing, right? Even the Spirit of truth, right? Let me get a precept, then we go back to that. That is 2 Corinthians, the 10th chapter. Verse 2, it says, "For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to pulling down of strongholds." This is why the men of the Lord is out here. Because you're dealing with a stronghold and you need help. But if you are a believer, if you are of the elect, you're going to be drawn and don't even know. Man, as soon as you get the knowledge, you're going to know it's the Lord, man. Right? As an example, I'm not saying I'm the elect. I'm still a filthy rag. Right? But for me to come outside, I know it's of the Lord, because even more I was reading. Then I said, hey, Lord willing, I go out and teach, or I do a video, which the Lord allowed me to do other videos. But I didn't have a thought on what I was going to bring out. But what came about me bringing this out is by me reading what I was reading. And that gave me more motivation. And all the other precepts that come to line is all from all the other times the Lord had me reading. And being able to remember some of these precepts where it clicks in my mind. Right? Or I say something and I'm thinking of a word, and guess what? If I can't find the scripture, I can go right in my digital device and type it in, and then it comes right up. Then I'll have mad cross-reference or precepts that line up with it to make it more edifying. It's all the Lord. Now, if I'm teaching anything contrary to the sound doctrine from the apostles, the prophets, the men of the Lord, a great millstone, right, or the affiliates, Lord willing, Yahawah, since I do believe in him, Yahawah Bahasham is going to bring one of them on here and say, nah, brother, that's not, you going off. And I got to hurry up and correct it. But since I don't see none of the brothers coming on here saying something was wrong, then I'm feeling confident that the Lord is moving through the Spirit and allowing this word to come out, right? So this whole point is to bring down, pull down strongholds, the lazy spirit, not having understanding the name of the Lord, the gospel, the prophecies, right? So this is what we're going into, right? Pulling down the real understanding of deliverance, and that deliverance is to deliver Jake from the strongholds, from the whitewash, from the false doctrines. I'm here to pull that down. That's you get spiritually delivered by those things. Don't it say in Revelations 18, come out of her? How do we come out of her spiritually? By the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of Yahawashi, so we can physically get delivered by Yahawashi. Jake got to get spiritually delivered, right? Coming into this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, right? That's why we have the Comforter, because it's going to search the deep things. 1 Corinthians 2, 10 and 11, right? St. John 14, 17, even the Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive. Why? Because they are of the world. Those that truly believe are not of the earth, right? Through the Spirit, the elect is of the heavens, man, right? Because if the elect is getting it, the elect is of Yahawashi. Yahawashi is heavenly, man, right? It says, because it seeth him not, neither knoweth him, but ye know him, for he dwelleth within you and shall be in you, right? They can't see him. Guess what? How can we see Yahawah by the men of the Lord, man? You can see it in the woman of the Lord too, because of her modest behavior, how she thinking, how she move, how she treat her husband, how she order her house, how she's not having too much freedom, right? Where a believer or a woman of the Lord is going back to the roots of having a delight being in the house. Oh yeah, that's a daughter of Zion. But mostly, who is the light day to day? The men of the Lord. Those is the light, because they're always teaching. They're ready to give an answer. They're always teaching. They got their hand on the plow, right? They're being honest by saying, man, I'm a filthy rag. I'm not the most righteous person. I do fall short. I do sin. But guess what? Since I'm afraid of the Lord, I got to get back up. I can't sorrow in my sin. When Paul was persecuting the church and he still was doing the work of the Lord, but he still remembered what he did and used that as a teaching point. Man, I don't even deserve to be apostle, but by the grace of the Lord, everything is by the grace of the Lord. You coming in this truth. Anybody hearing this word now and later, now and later, come on, man, that is crazy. Anybody hearing this word now and later, it's the favor of the Lord if you get it, if you stay in it. That goes with being delivered, man. You know, a lot of us can't say we is delivered in the spirit. And being delivered is not, oh, now I'm in the, now, oh, I know the breakdown of John chapter 3, verse 16, I'm delivered. No, being delivered spiritually is every day. Every day, you're living by the scripture. You're hearing the scripture, right? You feel sick or you feel off when you're not teaching the word or you're not hearing the word, right? Talking to you men and even you women, right? Verse 18, he says, I will not leave you comfortless. I will come to you. How is Yahawashi coming to us? By the Rakak Wadash, man. Right? The Rakak Wadash is being sent to us in the name of Yahawashi. The spirit is of Yahawashi. Let's go to St. John 15. Because it's saying in chapter St. John 15. I want to go straight to the point. St. John chapter 15. In verse 26, it says, but when the Comforter is come, whom I will send unto you from the Father, so Yahawashi is sending the Spirit from the Father Yahawah, even the Spirit of truth, which proceeded from the Father, he shall testify of me. Right? The scriptures, right? The Rakak Wadash is pointing us to Yahawashi, because Yahawashi is the volume of the book. Right? And if you abide in the Lord, sometime your mannerism will be Yahawashi. brothers is all stern. People like, oh, why y'all be so angry, or why y'all be coming off so harsh? Because Yahawashi is harsh. That's Luke the 19th chapter. Oh, you ain't Yahawashi, but through the Spirit, St. John 2:6, if you abide in him, which goes into remaineth in him, you must walk like he did. The men of the Lord should be all stern. You should be rough and harsh when it comes to these scriptures. You should be like Elijah, jealous for the Lord. But of course, we still should show a little mercy and some patience. But we're not here to play games. When you can see, you can sniff and smell foolishness a mile away. When people being trying to mock or trying to come with contentious, you can smell it a mile away. Yahawashi knew what the Pharisees was thinking in their mind, and then quoted or said something talking about what they was thinking. That's fire. I wish I had that thought, because I would hit my household with anything that they thinking, and hit them with reverse psychology and the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the Lord. And I would hit you false teachers, false leaders, and I would hit Jake that don't got no understanding, and I would do this to Esau and all the other nations if I knew what people was thinking, man. What? But all praise to Yahawah Shemashai, he allow us to be more of a servant and a vessel of him, where we got to go to him, right? Because teaching his word is a power, right? Praying and having faith, that's part of our power. But teaching his word is a power. This is a gift from the Lord, man. Let's keep reading. So the Rakakwadash is going to testify the Lord, right? It's going to point us to Yahawashi. It says, and ye also shall bear witness, because ye have been with me from the beginning. He was speaking to the disciples through the Spirit. The disciples was with Yahawashi before the heavens and the earth. Because when you read Genesis 1, verse 1, it says God created the heavens and the earth. That's the Elohim, right? Let's get that. Well, let's get this quick understanding real quick, and let's get back into it, because we talk about Israel being delivered, and we go swiftly get into Esau's destruction. But and that's the thing, through the Spirit, when Jake is getting built up in the Spirit, Esau's already fallen into destruction. Judith the 5th chapter, verse 21, right? When the Lord be for us, they're going to become a reproach. And I was dealing with in the time of the Babylonians. But guess what? This deal with all the generation of Jake. We in this last time right now where Jake is turning back to the Lord. The Lord is with us. We know the Lord with us, because the men of the Lord is on the highways and byways. That's one side. The wisdom, knowledge, and understanding is out here. The name of the Lord is out here. Come on. Nukes is being created. That's how we know the Lord is with us right now. Before he was forsaking us, right? The Lord is with us now, man. This Genesis 1:1. Let me show you that I'm there. Right? Genesis 1:1. It says, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Let's go into this word, God. This is in the Paleo Hebrew H7225. Wait, hold on. Wait a second. Why the heck it gave me? Oh, yeah. Okay. H430, Salaki. Now, it's going to say Elohim, but in Paleo Hebrew, in the right way to say it is Elohim. Elohim. Right? The outline of biblical usage is rulers, judges. This is a plural sense. In this verse, when it said God created the heavens and the earth, this is in a plural sense. Rulers, judges, divine ones, angels, gods. Angels is messengers, and those are men. Gods, divine ones, going into deity, right? Or those of power, rulers and judges. So if God created the heavens and the earth, this wasn't Yahawah. But on behalf of Yahawah, Yahawashi and the other powers, the other rulers, the other divine ones, the other angels, the other gods, created the heavens and earth, the heaven and the earth, because this was the blueprint of Yahawah. Yahawashi can't do nothing unless it was given to him by the Father. And the other powers, the other judges, the other rulers, the other divine ones cannot do nothing unless that power was given unto them through Yahawah and Yahawashi. Right? And it says it right here. Let me zoom up so y'all can see. Right? In a plural sense, that's what that's talking about. Rulers, judges, divine ones, angels, and gods. When you go into the strong definition, H433, gods in the ordinary sense, but specifically used in the plural, thus especially of the supreme God, occasionally applied by the way of difference to magistrates. What is the magistrates? Angels, gods, judges, right? Or rulers or divine ones. That right there is plain, man. Right? So Yahawashi and the powers helped Yahawashi make the heavens and the earth. Right? And they helped Yahawashi make the other beings, right? Other nations, so on and so on. Because this was in the blueprint of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. Right? Oh yeah, let me get another one. What is it? I think it's in Sirach. No, 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter. 2nd Ezra chapter 9 in verse... No, we're going to get it in the digital. It's 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter in verse 18. Right through the spirit, you had YNs, young Jake, walked past. Guess what? I looked at them, they looked at me. What can we do? They not ready for this. The sheep hear the Lord's voice. Through the spirit, they might not be sheep, but you never know. Later on, the Lord might wake them up. Right now, they not. But this 2nd Ezra chapter 9, in verse 18 and 19, it says, now when I prepared the world, we just read in Genesis 1:1, the Heavenly Father created Yahawashi to create the world, and then Yahawashi created the elect, the other rulers, powers, divine ones, and judges, and they helped make the heavens and the earth. It says, now when I prepared the world, which was not yet made, right? It was not yet made, because what did he do? Yahawashi created the other judges and rulers and divine ones, angels. He created them first. Even for them to dwell in that now live. Wait, hold on. So if he said, now when he prepared the world, which he did not make, even for them to dwell that now live. So that shows that these men, these people, was living before he made the heavens and the earth for them to dwell in. It says, no man spake against me. Wait, what? So that means those people, those men that was created before the earth that he made, we obeyed him. That means we were more connected to the Lord, right? Because why? We were divine ones. We were angels. We were gods. It says, for then everyone obeyed. But now the manner of them which are created in this world. Now those spirits or those powers, not all the angels, but the angels that became humans, right, are on the earth, right? Taking on flesh, being men. It says, but now the manner of them which are created in this world that is made are corrupted by a perpetual seed, right? That's under Adam. Now sin is in the world, right? Through Adam and Eve, because of what she did, getting that knowledge of wickedness from the serpent, right? Now we all gonna die, right? Because we were supposed to be immortal, right? But the Lord declared that he was setting up the end from the beginning. We were created to go off. This flesh wasn't made to be immortal, right? This flesh was made to go off, right? It says, by the law, which is unsearchable, rid themselves. Right? We're going to close on that one, right? For those that get it, they can get it. Starting with the elect men, right? When you go to Ephesians 1, the elect were predestined, starting with the men. You were predestined because the elect men is the first fruit of the Lord, right? Let me get a precept on the first fruit. Really, this is a better example. The firstborn belonged to the Lord. Exodus 13 and 12 first. In the KJV, it says, "Thou shalt set apart unto Yahawah all that openeth the matrix. Every firstling that cometh of a beast, which thou hast, the males shall be Yahawah's." Right? That's dealing with the animals, the males. But let's get another one. Numbers 3 and 13 in the KJV, "Because all the firstborn are mine. For on the day that I smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, I hallowed unto me all the firstborn in Israel, both man and beast. Mine shall they be. I am Yahawah." This is how you know, another example, that men are more important and better than women. Another example, when we go into when a woman has a son, she's unclean for 40 days, and that's spoken about first. And then when a woman has a daughter, she's unclean for 80 days. That shows you how more unclean a woman is than a man, spiritually and physically. Woman bleeds out of her karuchi, she's unclean for 7 days. If that blood continues, she's unclean more. Shows another example that men is better than women. That debate, when men is better or this, no. Men are created, or men are better. Let alone, let's hyphen it even more. The angels are men. Yahawah Bahasham are men. Men were created in the mind of the Lord better than women. And this firstborn is symbolic and lines up with Yahawashi. Because Yahawashi is the firstborn of the dead. He's the firstborn spirit, man. Right? And I'm about to say something else about the firstborn. Again, what I'm about to say does not mean that I am the elect or anything. Lord willing, I am. Right? But I'm going to just say something. Lord willing, I don't forget. So let me just bring this out first before I say it. This is Colossians chapter 1. Verse 15. Who is the image of the visible God? The firstborn of every creature. Yahawashi is the firstborn of every creature. And of a man and animal. Because the creature is man and animal. So he's the firstborn out of all creatures. That's why the elect is synonymous with Yahawashi. And this goes to the men first. The men. Right? When you go into the book of Judges, I forgot what father it was that had, no, it was, I think it went back into the time of Moses, going all the way to Joshua, where their father did not have no sons, and because the sons was going to have an inheritance, and because it was no inheritance left to them, it was promised that the daughters will have an inheritance. The inheritance is going to always go to the son, right? Well, when you look at Nehemiah and Ruth, right? They wanted, what was it? Their land to be redeemed, right? And it had to be redeemed through a man. So the man that was up next after the husband of Nehemiah and them, right, was the other brother, but he didn't want to take Ruth. But then Boaz, but it was all by the Lord to usher in later on David and Yahawashi. He redeemed the land. And it's all about men. Men are important in this thing. Men. And the thing that I wanted to say, the Wada Yahawashi that I can remember, you know, a lot of men that come in this truth, you know, if they is the elect, if they are the 144,000, those are the first spirits created outside of Yahawashi. But a lot of men in this truth are the firstborn of their father. I'm not going to say mother, because they're not born of their mother. They come out their mother. They're born through the loins, through the nuts of their father. Now, you know, I'm the firstborn son out of my father. Outside of talking about the daughter, I am the firstborn son. Because what did the Lord just said in Numbers 3 and 13? The firstborn males are mine. My sister on my father's side is the firstborn. Lord don't care about none of that. The firstborn of Yahawah Shema Shai are the men. So it's some brothers in this truth that's the firstborn out of their father's nuts, man. And not saying you the elect, but that feels good when you read the scripture. The firstborn is the Lord. And look, I'm in this truth. That makes me feel even more better. Yarmayan, the firstborn. I think, Sam, I know through the spirit, even through the spirit, like even if you're not the firstborn out of your father, if you come in this truth and none of your other family members is, and say you got brothers through the spirit, you are the firstborn of your father. Because you in this truth. Looking at it in the physical sense and the spiritual sense, if those that can get it. I just had to say that, but you know. So again, deliverance is starting with you getting the spirit of the Lord, getting this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, right? Having the spirit on you to go seek the Lord, because the elect don't want to be destroyed. Really, the elect not gonna get destroyed on this side, right? They're gonna get scarcely saved. That's why it's inevitable for the it's inevitable, without a doubt, that they're gonna come in this truth, and it's inevitable that the 2/3 is not gonna get this truth. It's inevitable. There's no way stopping it, man. Right? What else? Well, what else I want to get? Oh yeah. Let's go. Let's add some more. Let's go to another prophet. Where we want to go? We want to go to Ezekiel or Jeremiah. Let's go to Jeremiah first. This Jeremiah. Okay, let's get this one first. This is Jeremiah chapter 31, starting at verse 7. Going into the gathering of Israel. Through the Spirit, this is how we get deliverance, to lead to the physical deliverance. Verse 7, for thus saith Yahawah, sing with gladness for Jacob. This is what this teaching is. We're singing with gladness unto the 12 tribes of Israel. Really for the elect. And shout among the chief of the nations. Publish ye, praise ye, and say, O Yahawah, save thy people, the remnant of Israel. Going into the elect, right? And what are we singing? Let's go to Isaiah 13 real quick. We're singing the banner. What is a banner? A sign. A sign. That sign is the word. It's Isaiah 13:2. Lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain, and exalt the voice unto them. Shake the hand that they may go into the gates of the nobles. Right? The gate is Yahawashi. So we're lifting up the banner, this Bible, teaching the word of thus saith the Lord, and we're exalting the voice. Isaiah 58, cry aloud and spare not. Show my people their transgressions and their sins. We showing you your wickedness. Showing what you've done in the past. Showing what you did today. Showing you the judgment of the Lord. Showing you who your adversaries is. Right? It's another one. Dang, it was just in my head. Lift up a banner upon the high mountain, exalt the voice unto them. Shake the hand. Right? Yep, we shaking the hand. That's that judgment. Dang, it was another one I was thinking. Salaki family. Dang, what was the other one? It was right on my tippity tongue. We're lifting up a banner. Dang, it was right on my tongue, family. It was right on my tongue. It was right there. So I'm going to just go to this one verse I quoted. Lord willing to come back to me. Right? This Isaiah chapter 58. Like Jeremiah said, it's the classic of classics. Isaiah 58. Verse 1, it says, cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, to show my people their transgression, in the house of Jacob their sins. Now it can be in a loud city where all those cars came. I had to speak a little louder. But then it's just our voice just in general. I'm not whispering, but your voice is a trumpet, right? Now you might be in the area where it might be loud. You might speak a little louder. Our voice is an instrument to teaching Jake the word of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, right? This is us shouting. Oh, the precept came to mind. I knew it was. I knew it. The water Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, the water. Let's go to Proverbs 1. That was the point I wanted. This is Proverbs 1, starting at verse 20. It says, wisdom crieth without. She uttereth her voice in the streets. Matthew 22, the men of the Lord is going to the highways and byways. Right? They're uttering their voice. It said wisdom. Wisdom is a spiritual sense of Yahawashi. The men of the Lord got the spirit of wisdom, or the spirit of truth, where they teaching on the highways and byways, teaching thus saith the Lord. Right? For those that want to hear, and for even those that don't want to hear. Right? Well, what he said, teach this word regardless if they hear or forbear. Everybody's not going to want to hear it. Everybody worried about sports, the video game. You got Jake worried about sex, being a streamer, how much money you making. Everybody don't care about the Lord. Some people just want to say God is good, God is great. They don't want to hear the rough parts. They don't want to hear about the judgment. They don't want to hear about the destruction, right? They don't want to hear how you got here. Everything just got to be good, good, good. The Lord is not only good, he's great and terrible, man. Right? People don't want to hear the whole conclusion. Make it fast, man. Hurry up, man. I got to go. But the Lord not working on y'all damn time, man. That's why the men of the Lord come out here daily, posting videos daily, man. Right? Verse 21, she crieth in the chief place of concourse. We out here in the concourse in the main city. Psalms 23, where he says, in the shadow of death, wait, the valley of the shadow of death. This is the valley. Ezekiel 37, this is the valley of dry bones. America, man. This is the valley of the dead. And we speaking to those that are dead in a spiritual sense. Dead from the neck up. This is how they get delivered. By the wisdom and knowledge and understanding in the spirit. You cannot get delivered by Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi if you don't know his name. You don't know this truth. So the Lord got to deliver us by the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding so that we can physically get redeemed, man. How you ain't getting spiritually redeemed and then you just skip to getting physical? Man, get out of here. The Lord is placing everything in order. Right? So verse 21 again, it says, cry in the chief place of concourse, in the openings of the gates. In the city she uttereth her words, saying, we're uttering the voices of the Lord. How long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? Right? A lot of y'all simple. A lot of y'all simple. How long, man? Right? It says, in the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. They do. Right? Wisdom of Solomon 3, those that despise wisdom are miserable. Right? Your women miserable. A lot of our women in this world is definitely miserable. Men is miserable. This is why they getting those damn those Isabels. Right? I say Isabels. They're getting those Jezebels. Right? Why? Because they hate knowledge. This is why, Jake, you getting what you getting in the world, don't even know what it is, because you hate knowledge. Hey, Jake, that's other truth. You getting hit with shit too. Right, to toughen you up in the spirit. Toughen your skin, man. Right? Because this truth is not just all easy. It comes with speed bumps and bruises. Right? This is hard work. It says, turn you at my reproof, correction. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you. Right? What is it? Joel 2 and 28. The Lord will pour out his spirit unto everyone, man. Yo, other nations is getting the spirit on them. Yo, how? Esau making nukes. The spirit of the Lord is on them on the left-hand side, man. And don't even know the Lord is setting them up with the okie doke. The 2/3, the spirit is on you to be more wicked. Children. What is it? 2nd Esdras. The children are monstrous children. The spirit of the Lord is upon you. Right? Those that's killing. The Lord created spirits for vengeance. Right? A lot of y'all is getting the spirit upon you. Now, for those that's getting the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, the spirit on the right-hand side is upon you, man. This is why the words is getting filled in you, man. What is it? Fill me up, fill me up. You getting filled up. Because through the spirit, like the Lord told Peter, feed my sheep, feed my lamb, you getting fed. Now, we know the elect, they getting fed up. But they getting fed, man. They're getting increased with fuel. This wisdom and knowledge is righteous fuel. It's fire. Jeremiah 20:9, he said he wasn't going to teach in the name no more. But then he got erupted by fire. That was the fire of the spirit. Nah, you about to teach my word. And he went out teaching. You know, if you are the elect, none of us can stop this. Let me get that in Jeremiah. We're going to go back to Jeremiah 31. None of us can stop this teaching. If you are of the elect, if you are the 2/3, you can't stop this, man. None of us. It doesn't matter if somebody throw a rock at me, they say, shut the hell up and go in the house. Nobody can stop this, man. Nobody can stop this, man. Houdini can't stop this. Superman can't stop this. Esau can't stop this. This Jeremiah chapter 20, verse 9. It says, I'm going to read verse 8. He said, for since I spake, I cried out. I cried violence and spoil, because the word of Yahawah was made a reproach unto me in a derision daily. Then I said, I will not make mention of him, nor speak any more in his name, but his word was in my heart as a burning fire, shut up in my bones, and I was weary with forbearing, and I could not stay. He could not stay in the sense of not teaching in his name. He's a freaking, he couldn't sit still. Sit down. He couldn't sit still because that fire was in him. This is why the men of the Lord is crying on the highways and byways, because the spirit of truth, the spirit of wisdom is in them, and you can't sit still. The men of the Lord in the spirit, just using this in the spiritual sense, you got ADHD. You like my little man TJ, man. You can't sit still. Yeah, actually, yeah, you like Uzziah too. You can't sit still. You like a fiend, like a crackhead. Not saying you are crackheads, but crackheads itching, moving 1 minute. You can't sit still because it's a fire in you, man. Right? There's a fire in you. Yahawashi in you. Right? So back to Jeremiah 31 and 8. It says, behold, I will bring them from the north country and gather them from the coast of the earth. And with them, the blind and the lame, the woman with child and her travailed with child together, a great company shall return thither. Well, he just said the remnant of Israel, speaking of the southern and northern kingdom. So this can't be speaking about ancient Babylon. This is speaking about the southern and northern kingdom in a great Babylon, which is the land of the north, which is America. Go look it up. America is the land of the north. This is North America. Right? Babylon, in a sense, they would say when you in Israel, Babylon would be north of Israel. But this is Jeremiah prophesying of the future. Right? If he's saying he's going to bring us from the north country, right? And guess what? If you use that for the time in the Persians, yes, the Lord brought a remnant to rebuild the temple. But again, he said, gather them from the coast of the earth. And in Babylon, or in the Persians, the north, it was really the southern kingdom in the hands of the Persians. So where's the northern kingdom? This is a future prophecy, right? Let's go to Jeremiah 50 and 33. Let's line that up with it. It's Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 30. Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 33. It says, thus saith Yahawah of hosts, the children of Israel, the northern kingdom, and the children of Judah, the southern kingdom, were oppressed together. And all that took them captives held them fast, and they refused to let them go. Is he speaking about ancient Babylon? No, because ancient Babylon, the southern and northern kingdom as a whole, was not in captivity. They were not oppressed together. So that he's speaking about future prophecy, right? He's speaking about future prophecy. Let's get another one. Let's go to Jeremiah 3. I believe it's Jeremiah 3. Right? Jeremiah 3 and 18. It says, in those days the house of Judah shall walk with the house of Israel, and they shall come together out of the land of the north to the land that I have given for inheritance unto their fathers. When we when Ezra and Nehemiah was going back to the land, the southern and northern kingdom did not come out together. And some of the northern kingdom was still in the Persian captivity. So this could not be talking about ancient Babylon, right? This can't be talking about the Persian Medes Empire, right? This is talking about the northern country, which is North America, man. This is where the bulk of Israel is at, the southern and northern kingdom. This is where the truth got revealed in Babylon, man. Starting in New York in the late 1960s, the start of One West, but in the late 1950s, the Lord woke up Abba Bivens, man. Right? The truth really established in New York, in Babylon, man. Right? Come on, man. Got to make sense of this. Go to 2nd Esdras, the 13th chapter. The northern kingdom was over here. Right? Salaki. Right? The northern kingdom was over here, man. So how is they getting oppressed together if when Jeremiah said that, we wasn't oppressed with them together yet? Come on, man. So they going to walk together. How we going to walk together? Ezekiel 37. The breath of life is getting upon them, man. The prophets is speaking to Jake, and they speaking to the wind, and the Lord is bringing it to whatever direction it got to go. Right? With Isaiah 46 and 10. The Lord declared the end from the beginning. He set the northern kingdom to come up over here so we can fulfill what Jeremiah was prophesying in the spirit. Woo! Lord willing, just asking, can anybody put a 1 in the chat? Everybody put a 1 in the chat, on the live or out the live, if you understanding everything that's being brought out. Put a 1 in the chat. Now, if you're not understanding, you're not getting it, put a 2 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you understanding, put a 2 in the chat if you're not understanding. Right? Okay, we about to stay in Jeremiah. Now we can go to Ezekiel. Well, I'm gonna go to Ezekiel. We gonna hop. Okay, I see a 1. The water love. I see a 1. We gonna hop. I'm gonna hop from this prophet. We was just in Jeremiah. We can go to Ezekiel. Then I'm gonna hop back into Jeremiah. Right? Where we at? Jeremiah 36. Okay, the water love. I see you. Of course, y'all might be the only one that actually drop a 1 in there. Right? When you go to Ezekiel 36. No, that's Ezekiel 37. Ezekiel 36. Is it 25?
God bless her. God bless.
Yeah, God bless you too. Or Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi bless you. You go to Ezekiel. This is really going into. Yes. Yep. We'll just go to this point. This is Ezekiel chapter 36, verse 24. It says, I will take you from among the heathen and gather you out of all countries and will bring you into your own land. Right? The 12 tribes is scattered in all countries in the earth. They're scattered 4 corners of the earth. And the Lord said he's going to gather us from all countries. We was at Jeremiah 31. What did he say? He said, verse 8, behold, I will bring them from the north country. Yes, we're in 4 corners of the earth, but Judah, the southern and northern kingdom, is in the north country. So this doesn't take away from Jeremiah. It's just what we read expounded only on the north country. Now I'm about to give the sense that all Israel, 4 corners of the earth, is going to get delivered, which we just read in Ezekiel 36, verse 24. Now, when you keep on going, this is more part of the deliverance, where he's giving you sprinkling clean water, cleaning you from your filthiness, from your idols, and giving you a new spirit and a new heart, right? Really new, going into a fresh, right? But Lord willing, we could come back to that, right? Because first, we still want to understand getting spiritually delivered. So if Jake and Jeremiah 3 and 18 are walking amongst each other, we're walking with each other, and truly in unity in the same doctrine, right? Some of us, hey, we might not be in the same doctrine, but the southern northern kingdom are saying they Hebrew and Israelites now, right? So, hey, we could give a clap to that, right? Lord willing, we can all be moved into the same sound doctrine where there's no division, right? Let's go back to Jeremiah 31:10. Hear the word of Yahawah, O ye nations, and declare it in the isles afar off, and say, he that scattered Israel, where gather him, and keep him as a shepherd doeth the flock. For Yahawah have redeemed Jacob, and ransomed him from the hand of him that was stronger than he. And our true ransom is Yahawashi, right? That's why this is going to be set in stone, right? I want to go over to Jeremiah 31, verse 31, I believe. Do I really want to go there? Yeah, I'll just go there. This is dealing with the new covenant. It says, behold, the days come, saith Yahawah, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. Right? And that was already spiritually established by Yahawashi, him coming on the earth and then dying for us. Now we have that new way, which was already established in the heaven. Because even when you go in the law, it was already through Yahawashi. We just needed to understand it. But the northern kingdom didn't fully get this gospel until this time where the words is taught in the north country, right? So we're going to physically get this new covenant when Yahawashi come back, man, right? Having a glorified body, having a new heart, having a new spirit. It says, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was a husband unto them, saith Yahawah. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. So the southern and northern kingdom, why those fake juju beings ain't speaking about the northern kingdom? They ain't the people. The men of the Lord is speaking about the southern and northern kingdom, right? You got some Jake. The 12 tribes is black only. They're black only. Some of them just say they're Judah. They're Judah only, right? Nah, Jake. The 12 tribes is a speckled bird. They're many colors, multicolored, right? Really because of us going into different ways, and children, men playing their seeds and other women, right? And we talking about the men because the men carry the seed, right? Your child might come out lighter, darker. In other cases, they even speak or walk like the other nations, right? It says, but after those days, saith Yahawah, I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts. It will be their power, and they shall be my people. Going back to Ezekiel 36, right? The law is not in our hearts, but in the spirit. You're drawn to it, and that's in your heart because your mind is meditated on the Lord. But in the kingdom, you're going to be fully connected to the Lord where you ain't going to have to sin. When these laws is written in our heart, we ain't going to never sin. Never, ever, ever, ever. Right? We're not in that moment yet. Right? Let's keep going back to the Lord dispersed Jake to other countries. This is Jeremiah chapter 32 and verse 37. Behold, I will gather them out of all countries, whether I have driven them in my anger and in my fury and great wrath. Right? This is the fury and the wrath of the Lord, and everybody's saying Yahawah is good. He's terrible too. This is his fury and his wrath that Israel scattered everywhere. Yo, America is not the end-all be-all. This is where all the 12 tribes is at as a bulk. But you got other elect, even the non-elect, but other elect 4 corners of the earth, man. I'm not with all my brothers and sisters. Right? I'm not with all of them, man. That's the fury of the Lord, man. We not in one place. It says, I will bring them again unto this place, and I will cause them to dwell safely. What? He's going to bring us to what place? To our land. And when we go back to our land, we're going to get our power plus more. Those that have forsaken houses, forsaken wives, you getting 100-fold, right? It might be brothers that don't got a wife. You getting 100-fold of that. You might have one. However, you getting 100-fold of that. Your children, 100-fold of that, right? Job, he lost his children. He got 100-fold children. And in the reincarnation, because he lived about 100 plus, he got to see his kids that he lost in the regeneration, reincarnation. You go the men of the Lord, starting with the first fruit, you're going to get 100-fold. And with your 100-fold, the wives that you get, they're going to have an enjoyment in your 100-fold. No emulation, no jealousy of another woman, right? Riches on riches, where your wealth is going to be way beyond any other damn heathen on the earth. Your children got their own, they got their favorite animal, right? The children gonna know what you created if you are of the 144,000, right? And just the elect in general. All Israel that's saved on this side, then the 2/3 that get reborn, you're gonna be over all nations. But the whole point is getting salvation on this side. So the elect, starting with the 144,000 and down to the men and the other women and children, right? For those other men and women and children, right, whoever is connected to the men, to the 144,000, you are, especially the women and children, you are going to benefit from that 100-fold. What? You're going to benefit from the 100-fold. So if it's a woman that is married to one of the men of the Lord now, get in the kingdom, you're going to benefit from what he gets from the Lord, the 100-fold, right? The servants, the land, right? The planets, right? And guess what? You're not going to be the only sister, because brothers is going to be priests and kings, where they're going to have variety, and those wives is going to benefit off the 100-fold that the husband get. Let's get that. Come on, man. Let's get that real quick, right? Because this is for the elect, man. Right? That's that deliverance. Ooh, I want that. I want it. I want it. I want it. Not just only for me, but I want it for the elect. I want it for my household. I want it for the brothers I labor with. I want it for the elder apostles and the men that are sincere and diligent in GMS, and for the hopeful elect that are diligent and enduring in this thing, in and out of congregations, whoever you may be. Right? This is Matthew, the 19th chapter, verse 27. Then answered Peter and said unto him, Behold, we have forsaken, abandoned all, and followed thee. What shall we have therefore? And Peter had a wife. I mean, he has a wife. I'm saying had because he's not here. He here right now. He one of these brothers, or he could be in the spirit world. But in this time, Peter had a wife. So he forsake this wife for Yahawashi, for the truth. Yahawashi said unto them, Verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in a regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye also shall sit upon 12 thrones, first starting with Yahawashi, David, the 12, and then 144,000, which is the government body. Ye also shall sit in 12 thrones, because the 12 disciples is symbolic to the 12 tribes of Israel. Judging the 12 tribes of Israel, and every one that have forsaken houses, those that was laboring for Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, or brethren, or sisters, or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or lands, for my name's sake shall receive 100-fold, and shall inherit everlasting life. That 100-fold, we talking about, what is that, Father? 100-fold. The best 100-fold, the 144,000 is the first fruit of your bloodline. So your father gonna be your child, man. Your mother, she don't get it, she's gonna be your child in the kingdom. But even if she do get it, if one of the men of the Lord is on here, say if he is one of the 144,000, we already went into the first fruits of the Lord is his, starting with the elect, the 144,000. Those are the first fruits of their bloodline. Lord willing, y'all got that. Brethren, sisters, right? You're going to have 100-fold brothers, sisters, right? Mother or wife, right? Or wife, right? Yes, in all your little lifetime, the woman that you have a crush on, or woman that you with, I'm sorry. I'm being honest. That wasn't your only one. Each timeline dependent. If the Lord had the girl that you with right now, if she was your wife in the last time, depending if the Lord could have had you in that captivity or in that time at a different age than when she was even available or she was in the spirit world. But in every time of your life, most likely, like the spirit of the prophets is subject to the prophet. History merely repeats itself. Hey, if you was having a wife in this time, in most cases you was either a eunuch at a point in your life or you had a wife. And you had a wife at that time, and you had a wife at that time. And guess what? You had different. Now we in this captivity, you seeing who it is, and guess what? None of us have no memory of who we was and who we had. In the kingdom, you gonna get 100-fold, man. 100-fold. If it's saying, let me look up 100-fold, man. Let's look up 100-fold. What does 100-fold mean? 100-fold means 100 times as much or as great. 100-fold means 100 times as much or as great. It can refer to an increase in size, quantity, or intensity. For example, 100-fold increase in price would mean the price is 100 times higher than before. Go in your smartphone and go look up what does 100-fold means. So if a man is going to receive 100-fold, we already seen if he has a forsaken house, he's going to have 100-fold houses. Brethren, 100-fold brethren, right? Sisters, father, right? Mother, wife, children, lands, because even men that double up that 10 pounds or the 10 talents, he got 10, he's going to rule 10 cities. He's going to have 100-fold. To having 10, say if you don't got no cities, but you doubled up 10 times, having 10 city is almost to 100 times more than the quality in what you had, right? What else did it say? It said mother or wife and children. Lands. Come on, man. You're going to receive 100-fold. 100-fold. 100-fold, man. That right there, that is, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Call Allah Bahasham Yahawashi, man. Call Allah Bahasham Yahawashi. 100-fold. And like I said, you women, you're going to benefit from your husband 100-fold. Lands, the rulership, right? Because you're going to be in rulership too. It's still going to be in the order where a woman can't usurp authority over a man, right? But you're going to be ruling your servants, right? You ain't going to be ruling over no Israelite man. Ain't no bickering, ain't no yelling back and forth, ain't no telling him what he can do, right? His time and through the spirit is valuable. And a woman going to get back to that. You just having 1 hour, 1 day, a week, a month is going to be, oh my goodness, oh, thank you, my Edom for this time. If, hey, he's with his other wife for 2 months, guess what? You're going to still be in order. You're going to have so much to do. You ain't going to be complaining about nothing. We're going to get back in the right order, man. That's that physical deliverance. We ain't even get to the 100-fold yet. Right now we getting that spirit though. Right? Let's go back to that Jeremiah. Lord willing, that motivates you. You know, you ever get that moment where you get excited for something tomorrow, you're like, you get excited, you want it. Right? Salaki. Right? I want it. I don't know about you, but I want it. There's so many points going into the same thing. Right? This is Jeremiah the 33rd chapter, verse 6. Behold, I will bring it health And I will cure them and will reveal unto them the abundance of peace and truth. And I will cause the captivity of Judah and the captivity of Israel to return, and will build them as at the first. So when Yahawashi come back through the Spirit, how is he building us? He's rebuilding the tabernacles of David by the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, right? So that eventually when Yahawashi come, physically, he's rebuilding us to putting us back in our power seat. We get in our power seat, we're going to subdue all the nations. And guess what? Endless rulership, endless wisdom, because you're going to be living forever, ever, and ever, and ever, and ever. I want to say something of what I heard Genesis say, but I might have to rewatch what the heck they said about where it was something they said and it didn't sound right, but I'll probably do a lesson on it, Lord willing, if it come back to me. But so right now, the Lord bringing us from our captivity physically did not happen. But through the Spirit, us having a wisdom and knowledge and understanding, knowing our adversaries, getting these end time prophecies, those things is ushering it in. Because the elect, right, when we go into Ezekiel 9 and 7, the elect, right, are getting, or those that are crying and mourning in the cities, right, are getting marked with the name of the Lord in the Spirit, so that they can have the mark of exemption from the destruction that's about to come. Revelation 7, right, the angels in the spirit world is holding back the winds, holding Esau from pressing that button. Or you know, Russia from having that evil thought, hearing a whisper, an evil thought to press that button. All of that is held back. The little wars, the little bombs you see, that's all ushered in the heavens. But the war that's going to lead to Yahawashi coming, that World War III, those angels is held back because it's all about sealing the elect. Starting with the 144,000 and then the great multitude in the mix of that. Because through the Spirit, anybody that get beamed up, get truly saved, right, get a changed body, those are the elect, right? Hold on, let me drop down. Oh, wait, hold on, let's... Verse 8, it says, I will cleanse them from all their iniquity, whereby they have sinned against me. I will pardon all their iniquities. We fully haven't got pardon. We get pardon when we with the Lord, right? Pardon means to forgive. But we know the Lord forgives and never forgets, right? Through the Spirit, the Lord still allowing us to get this wisdom, knowledge, understanding on behalf of the remnant, right? But guess what, Jake? You still in servitude, right? We're not fully pardoned. Because then we wouldn't be getting afflicted. Jake, we wouldn't have crackheads. We wouldn't have slut buckets, man. You know, we wouldn't have women out of order, right? We wouldn't have monstrous children. We're still not pardoned, right? Drop it down to verse 14. It says, behold, the days come, saith Yahawah, that I will perform the good thing which I have promised into the house of Israel to the house of Judah. So the Lord is going to perform the promise that he made all the way from Abraham, Isaac, to Jacob to the children of Israel. We're going to get it, man. You're going to get it, right? You should be seeing the things line up. Hey, we're about to do a nice little detour to try to go into the destruction, right? What was it? I don't know if this was it, because I had it in. Oh, let's get this. I think this is the one I want. Yep. This is Zechariah 14, verse 1. Going into the day of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. It says, behold, the day of Yahawah cometh, and thy spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee. For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle. And the city shall be taken. Because especially in the spirit, when you look at the battle of Jerusalem going into Ezekiel 38, verse 17 to 19, the battle against the Amalek or the heathen or Edomites that's in our land, that place is going to be destroyed. It's going to be destroyed because it's going to be a war against them. Of course, we got the word Jehoshaphat, and then the same war against Babylon, because it's simultaneously. right? Because that land is partnered with America, which aligns up with the beast, right? Which is sprouted to the finance, the religion, and the military might. The 10 horns and the 7 heads, right? To keep going, verse 2, and the city shall be taken, and the houses raffled, and the woman ravished, and half of the city shall go forth into captivity, and the residue of the people shall be cut off from the city. Right? So even if we was to look back then in the ancient world, especially dealing with, because I believe Zechariah is speaking in Babylon or speaking to Judah, right? When you look at Judah, Judah went through war against the Babylonians, and their city got besieged, right? What happened with the Greeks? The same thing. Yo, Judas and Maccabees was having war with the heathen, right? The same thing with Romans. Revelations 12, where the Romans had a flood, which is the army, to go against the Jews. And they fled to the African mountains, where they besieged the land in 69, 70 AD, in the time of Vespasian and Titus, man. Right? But through the Spirit, right? I want to get this one, because I want to get this just to make it clear, because it's like in the same sense, but for Esau, the same sense is gonna happen to them, right? This is Ezekiel, because they're in our land. They occupying our land. They took over our land, right? This is Ezekiel 38 verse 17. It says, "Thus saith Yahawah Bahasham power, art thou he of whom I have spoken in old time by my servant the prophets of Israel, which prophesy in those days many years, that I will bring thee against them." Right? And Ezekiel 38 is talking about Gog. God goes into king of Magog. In modern time, that is Russia, the land of Russia. So the king of Magog, which in this time is Vladimir Putin, he's going to be against Israel, which is synonymous with Babylon, synonymous with the other Egyptians. Isaiah 19 verse 2, the Egyptians against the Egyptians, right? It says, "And it shall come to pass at the same time, when Gog, the king, shall come against the land of Israel, saith Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi power, that my fury shall come up in my face, for in my jealousy, in the fire of my wrath, have I spoken surely in that day, there shall be a great shaking in the land of Israel." How? Because in verse 10, it says, "After many days thou shalt be visited. In the later years thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword, and has gathered out of many nations." Wait, no, Salaki, verse 10. I'm reading verse 8. Verse 10, Salaki. It says, "Thus saith Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi power, it shall come to pass that in the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought." What's the evil thought? Press the button, right? Let's go into the verse of that weapon, right? This is Isaiah chapter 54 verse 16. "Behold, I created the smith," right? The creator of weapons that mold weapons. Today, the engineer of that would be Teman, the grandson or the descendant of Esau, which in this time would be the people of Germany, right? The Germans, basically. It says, "That bloweth the coals in the fire, that bringeth forth the instrument for his work. And I will create the waster to destroy." It's Yahawah creating this. How? Because the Lord is using the left-hand side, which goes into sinister. The left-hand side of the Lord that's having a counsel with the king, right? 1 Kings 22, right? Who's going to persuade this king to make wasters? Oh, me. Go to Project Paperclip on YouTube and understand that Russia and America split, I believe, between 2010, however they used it. They split, smart engineers of Germany that was good at engineering weapons, right? Mass destructions, destroyers, right? This is where we get into World War I, World War II, right? Right, when they started creating grenades and bombs. Now look where we at now. ICBM missiles, continent ballistic missiles that can fly from continent to continent. Right? These Edomites and these other the nations that got them, they don't gotta leave their country to go drop a bomb. They could be in a bunker. They could be in a damn plane. Right? They could be all the way in the Caribbean mountains or whatever, doing whatever they doing. They could be in the satellite. Press a button. Hey, press that button. They could be anywhere and press that button. Those nukes is gone. They out. Right? Come on, man. What is it called? The silos. The silos. The archers. The new archers is the silos. Right? Let me go look up silos. Right? We almost get into that time, man. Silos. There's silos where they put bombs. Sometimes you gotta be precise when you're saying this. Missile launch facility. Yes, silos can be used to store and launch missiles, which are a type of flying weapon that can carry explosive. Specifically, these structures are known as missile silos or missile launch facilities. Purpose of missile silos: storage, protection, or launch capabilities. Missile silos enable launch of intercontinental ballistic missiles, ICBM missiles, IRBMs, and MRBMs. ICBMs are intermediate range ballistic missiles, and then you got the medium range ballistic missiles. The characteristics, the security, instruction: missile silos are typically vertical structures made of reinforced concrete sunk into the ground, just like bunkers. Location: missile silos are often located in strategic military areas. The United States, for example, has missile silos in several states, including North Dakota, Manhattan, Colorado, Wyoming, Nebraska. I know somebody that wanted to go to Colorado. I know you might be on here. Right. So there we go. So they making missiles and they making silos, man. Right? Why is they making this? Because the Lord said he created, man. Right? Let's go to Daniel 4:17. No, brother, how the Lord making that? No, the Lord ain't making that. Thou sayest. Thou sayest, brother. This is Daniel 4:17. This has been brought out. I seen brothers today doing lessons and they was bringing this out too. I brought this out probably like 5 times today, maybe 4. This is Daniel 4:17. It says, "This matter is by the decree of the watchers, and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and set up over it the bases of men, the lowest of men. Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi ruleth in the kingdom of men." So when you talk about the smith or the silos, the Lord ruleth in them. The Lord ruleth in the government. The Lord is ruling in the politics, right? Whoever is ruling a country, ruling the world. Russia, it doesn't, even Russia and America, even though those is what they say 2 nations, they're still ruled by the top dogs. America is the symbolic image of this system, of this beast, and of the push of this world, because the elite push all their fornication, all their lies through Babylon, right? When you look at Rome in the ancient world, Rome was the beacon, right? That was the main dwelling place for Esau, but their power went far hand where they had other generals and rulers in different areas. Like Herod, he was ruling in Judea over the Jews, right? Having power over them, afflicting them, killing them, right? Putting order, right? Bringing false teaching. Even had Pontius Pilate a governor, right? All of them was set up, but they were in power. What was they? Subjects, pawns under the top dogs, right? When you go watch, I think Spartacus, I think I might have to get back into that TV show, Rome. I think there's another one called Sartorian. I be loving the old history joints too, because just seeing the mindset of them, where going back into Rome was a different mindset. Like you had to get prepared, because Rome was the city, Rome was the place, right? And then you had to go in front of the Senate. But when you was out somewhere else, your power was out there. When Rome was like, yo, you got to come home. Like when some of the emperors that became emperors and that was ruling over the military, they was growing power because they were making garrisons, having military might in different areas, ruling, killing people, taking spoils. The more spoil that they was taking, the more rich they was. Oh damn, what's his name? His name is in my head. It's in the TV show Spartacus, but in history, the dude that went against Spartacus. Damn, I'm about to find his name right now because now it's in my head. Who was the general that fought against Spartacus? Marcus Licinius Crassus, right? This man at that time, he probably was one of the most wealthiest men of Rome. Probably, no, he was, yeah, at that time, he was probably one of the most richest men in Rome, because you even had some of the Senate, like certain rules, if they needed more army or if they needed help in the city of Rome while he was making spoil with other nations, they would send a messenger to send a note to him and say, hey, we need money, or they would try to bribe him with land or more soldiers or another position, right? Hey, I'll give you this position if you send this money because we need this. They would call it coin or denario, right? Denario was money or coin, you know? So even in this side, who's the one with money? Who's ruling money? Oh, let's look up more facts. What did Nathan Rothschild say? Those that rule the money rule the empire. And I'm just using a mic instead because it makes it faster. See. Salaki. Who did Nathan? Salaki. What did Nathan Rothschild say about who rules the money rules the empire? Salaki, it was a word typo. It said Nathan Rothschild is often associated with this quote: I care not what puppet is placed upon the throne of England. In America stems or a branch from England. That's the mother of America, England. This is where we get English. To rule the empire. So he said he don't care what puppet is placed upon the throne of England to rule the empire, on which the sun never sets. The man who controls the British money, which British is another branch or the same point of England, which America stems from. The 7 and the 8 in Revelations 17. Let me make sure I'm quoting it right. Revelation 17. Hold on, we gotta make sure we make sure we saying the right thing. Revelations 17, verse 11. The beast that was and is not, even he is the eighth, and is of the seven, and goeth into perdition. Right? Because when you go into one of those heads of the beast is Rome, and another one is Britain. So Rome 2.0 is America. Right? The eighth would be Britain. The seventh is Rome, man. Or the seven is Britain and America is the eighth. It's either one vice versa, right? So the man who controls the British money supply controls the British Empire. I control the British money supply. This was said by Nathan Rothschild. Through control of British money supply, has sufficient power and influence over the British Empire. Right? America is ran under the Europe, under Europe, England, Britain, British. It's all ran by Europeans, man. The central bank started in Europe. So all where they little pawns is at, it's all established by them. What did Hitler say? He didn't even he wanted to, in that war, he wanted to stop the Juju beings or the Europeans from ruling the earth, to placing their damn banks. Right? Let's actually get that quote. What did Hitler say about the bankers, the European bankers? See? Okay. Hitler frequently criticized international bankers, specifically targeting those accused of manipulating global finance, causing economic hardship. What's going on now? Economic hardship, right? Through those that are bankers. He viewed them as a shadowy force controlling national economics and exploding nations through debt and financial manipulation. He believed they were undermining Germany's recovery and independence. Targeting the Juju being bakers, you know who I'm talking about. The Nazi propaganda often linked with these international bankings with Juju people fueled anti-Semitism and conspiracy theories. They're not even the Jews, right? They're not, right? So he was even against these false imposters, man. Let me see if I got this quote. Let's see. Please say I didn't. Did I delete it? I probably did. Nope. Got it. Ha. This is one of Hitler's so-called confessions. Right? Let's read it. Hitler confession. Hitler said, even in his death, he will, wait, I don't know. I'll just read it. Will start World War III. One of his soldiers asked how. Hitler replied, the day mankind find out what I was trying to defend this nation, Germany, from, then that's the day World War III will start. Truly, the world is going to know because of this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Because of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. It says, for on that day, mankind will learn that I was trying to save my nation from the Freemasons, the Illuminati, which really is all stems from the Juju beings. You know who I'm talking about. The Jews, false Jews. For if the Americans win the war, that shows you that the Juju beings is ruling this America establishment, right? For if the Americans, because who came over here to take over? Europeans, right? It says then, and that even goes Egyptian against Egyptian, right? Because even Hitler was a descendant or lined up with the Rothschilds, right? It says, then they will conquer the world and forever be a slave to the Jews, and they will try to conquer God, right? They conquer the world. Go look the USA military footprint. Only America has the most footprint in all nations. That's the example of ruling, but it goes back to Revelation 16. The 3 defiled frogs, and I said this in the last live, in the other video, right? The 3 defiled frogs is the military might, America, footprint everywhere. The false prophet, the Roman Vatican, that's above all religions outside of the Hebrew Israelites, right? And the finance that's ran in London, in Europe, right? This is what he said. He says, oh, it's a lot. He says, do you know who America has in its possession? No, the soldier replied, the Americans has the Jews of God. How can America have the so-called fake Jews in custody or in hand when America aligned with the Juju beings to give them their freedom to do whatever they want, let alone the fake Jews is in their land, and we know in scriptures the Lord is going to physically take us back to our land. America helped them get that land to establish 1948. And the Rothschilds is in the line with that. It says, the Americans have stolen God's precious Jews through the Spirit. Yes, but it was all by Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Right? He sold us to these forsaken people. Right? Lawless people. It says, what do you mean? His precious jewels. The soldiers asked Hitler. Hitler said, America has stolen the Jews. So Hitler was saying they're not the Jews, man. The false Jujus is not the Jews. They stolen the real Jews. He said the Jews of God, his jewelry, the Negroes, they are the true Hebrews. So the Hebrews is God's chosen people, right? Let alone the black Latinos and natives, man. So you got Africans, the Haitians, the Jamaicans, the Latinos, the Puerto Ricans, the Dominicans, the Cubans, the Mexicans, the Indians, the Gadites, right? Those are the children of the Lord. The Jews is really Judah, but it stems to Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, who is the southern kingdom, right? And that's a big secret that was hidden because the Lord allowed Esau to make Israel not to be in a remembrance. 2nd Ezra 2:7, the Lord said he removed our names from out of the earth just to fulfill prophecy. And if you really want this truth, the Lord made the elect want to seek the Lord. Because if you don't seek the Lord, we just read it. 2nd Chronicles 15 verse 13, you're going to perish. Right? I said what I said about black Latinos and natives. A whole bunch of Jake walked past. So symbolically, they were able to hear that. And these are the same people that have been walking back and forth, these young teens. Because it's Friday right now. The young teens, they just walk past me. Young Jake. They just walk past me back and forth. With an OG, back and forth, since I've been out here. And I've been out here for 152 minutes. I don't know how long that is. That's military time, I guess. I can't really calculate it all in my head. But we've been out here for a whole minute. And the same people been walking right past me. And the one dude that walked past me was with them. He said, God bless. Lord willing, they get it. Lord willing, the Lord let them. If not, hey, it is what it is. Right? So, man, we just went in for a minute. Right? Let's keep on going. I still got time. That battery is not dried up yet. Right? Let's go to Joel chapter 2. I just want to get, this is another, going into another dark day of the Lord. Verse 1, it says, blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and truly is not the place, it's the people. So we're blowing the trumpet wherever Jake is, right? The 12 tribes of Israel is 4 corners of the earth. The men of the Lord is teaching in Australia, UK, right? Really using a unicorn. Like the apostle said, great millstone. I want to make sure I make that sure so you know that the unicorn, by the power of the Lord, is doing the heavy lifting for us. You know, I don't really got to travel everywhere to go hear the word, right? Let me show you something. And I'm going to go back to reading this verse, but I want to show you something on YouTube, right? Because this is how you know we don't have to go everywhere. Let me go to my channel. Let's look at the statistics. Gender, female. Okay. Geographically, right there, you can see it on the screen. Geographically, 39% of people in Japan is my audience. 11% of the United States is my audience, which we know 33.3% is getting saved out of, technically out of Babylon, but 33.3% is the elect, right? So only 11% is listening to me. In Indonesia, only 4% is listening to me. Now, I could probably go a little further and find out other places. Let's see if they show me right here. Let's see. 0.4% in Canada is watching me. 0.6 people in the United Kingdom is watching me. Wait, hold on. Wait a second. Hold on. They saying May 23rd to June 19, 2025, 47.5% is watching me in the United States. And I haven't been to 50 states in the United States. I only been to ATL, Washington, D.C., VA, Baltimore, Maryland, Dunkirk, Rochester. I did go to Canada when I was younger. Syracuse, Cleveland, Ohio, and Mississippi. Right? Of course, 10%, 10.9% in Japan. Wait, hold on. Oh, we can look even further. And I'm just showing that the unicorn is doing more heavy lifting. All right, yeah, you have a good one too. Lord willing, you are the elect. Lord willing, you are an Israelite, right? Lord willing. This is crazy. I looked at from all countries, or in 356 days out of the year, what is this unicorn, starting with the internet, YouTube, where is this word going, right? I haven't went to these places. In the United States, it's talking about 50 states. I haven't been to 50 states. It says 33.3% is listening to me in the United States. 30.2% within a year is listening to me in Japan. The Vietnamese is 0.5, the United Kingdom 0.4, and Canada in 1 year 0.3, Indonesia 0.1, South Africa and Australia is 0. Nobody is listening to me within the year in those places, right? And those is talking about lives. Now my regular videos, 0.1 in Canada, 0.1 in Vietnam, right? And this is just only showing I never been to Canada. I never been to 50 states in the United States. I never been to the United Kingdoms. I only been to Canada when I was a young teen. I'm 33 right now. I never been to Indonesia. I never been to Vietnam, and I never damn near been to South Africa. So how is it getting there? The unicorn is doing the heavy lifting, right? Come on, man. That right there, that we should be exalting the Lord. The Lord created this system to do the heavy lifting for you, brother, to go teach the word. Now, if I was on the elders page, which they getting the sheep is watching them. They've been in this thing for a minute. Those are the elders. They got the percentage is probably way different, right? The word is going out. It's men from their camp that actually got under their camp and under their banner in Australia, and in the UK, London, Paris, right? And all 50 states of the United States, man, because they're hearing the word, right? So he says, blow the trumpet. The men of the Lord is raising a voice, right? So again, Joel 2:1, blow ye the trumpet in Zion and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of Yahawah cometh, for it is nigh at hand, right? Romans 13:11. It is time to wake up, because salvation is nearer than what we believe. After 1619, salvation is close. Now we in 2025, salvation is even closer. Each day, each year, right? Each day, each week, each month, each year, we getting closer and nearer to our salvation, right? It says a day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong, there have not been ever the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. A fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the garden, our garden of Eden, before them, and behold them a desolate wilderness. Yeah, nothing shall escape them. Right, really going into, which is not going to be able to escape. Really, any place that get touched by a nuke, but really Babylon and Israel. Anybody that's not of the elect, the land itself is not going to be able to move and skip this judgment. But those that are not of the elect, dealing with the 2/3 in the other nations, you ain't gonna be able to escape what's about to come, man. Right? Because we can go into future prophecy. Isaiah. Do we want to go to Isaiah the 13th chapter or 34? Yeah, I'll go to Isaiah 13 first. This right here is what we need, man. Yo. Huh? Nothing, I'm just teaching the word. Teaching the doctrine of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. I'm a Hebrew Israelite. I don't know what you look like or who you is, because I can't see in the card. But I'm teaching the Bible to the black Latinos and natives, letting them know that America about to be destroyed. And only the elect of the black Latinos and natives gonna get saved. We living in the end times. Your car look fire. Everybody got fire shit going on. People being celebrities, everybody got money. But America is going to be destroyed, especially when you line up prophecies. This is not about no Christianity church. We teaching the truth, what was actually hidden from the black Latinos and natives, that you the best people on the earth, right? This is not about a battle or anything. This is about showing that the black Latinos to the Lord is the best people on the earth. Something that we did not know, that for me doing my own thing, getting money, having a girl, having children, that's not the end all be all. A lot of us don't know the true name of the Lord. A lot of us don't know why we in America, or why the black Latinos and natives is scattered 4 corners of the earth. Is because we don't know who he is. And we're not taught who he is, right? Because we were created in America to be servants. The rulers of America said that they don't want a nation of thinkers, they want a nation of workers. So most of black Latinos and natives, most of the thing we do is try to get money, man. You got women being hoes just to get money. You got Jake either selling poison, which I did too, selling drugs to our people just to get money. But you don't even know why you here. You don't even know if America gonna last long. A lot of Jake don't know how America got power. But in this Bible, it tells you how America got power. It tells you who the white man is in the Bible, the devil that the Bible speak of. Devil only means a liar, manipulator, deceiver. He lied to us, man. So I'm out here to teach the truth, the 100% truth, only using the Bible, the 1611 Bible with the Apocrypha, the Old Testament and the New Testament, answering any question that any Jake got. So that's what I'm out here doing, and that's what I'm preaching. So you can find me on YouTube, 716, but this YouTube channel is my personal one. It's Noble Warrior 144, or you can type in the Dargabar, ADARGABR, and I'm doing lessons every day. Again, Revelations 18, 18 and 18 or 18 and 17, it says that America or daughter of Babylon would be destroyed in 60 minutes. In the Bible, in Isaiah 56 and 16, the Lord said he created the smith and the waster. Now, I don't know if you know what the waster is in Bible term, but in modern day term, a waster is the missile, the ICBM missile. My YouTube name is Noble Warrior 144. All right, man, just look it up, check it out. You don't have to, but if you do, hey, all praises, man. And you can ask any question on there, and I even answer that on there. You know what I'm saying? But Lord willing, y'all have a good night, man. Enjoy yourself. So now I'll get back to it. So y'all good? We good? Yep, always, man. Huh? Wait, Salaki. What'd you say? All right, y'all have a good night, man. So this is Isaiah. There we go. Those was some cops or undercover cops, man. They had the whole cop uniform in a BMW. But that's the example. I didn't have to shake these men down. I seen them drive up, slow down, and then go back around and they asked a question, right? And I was only able to say what I had to say. I could have went into a scripture, but you could tell Jake, a lot of them be ready to go. So you got to just hurry up and speak what you teaching, get in a small, big point, and then send them on their way. Now it's really the Lord. Paul said, though I plant and Apollos water, it's the Heavenly Father that gives the increase. I can't make them get this. I just planted a seed by saying, I'm a Hebrew Israelite, I'm teaching the Bible, thus saith the Lord, the 100% truth, the sound doctrine for the black Latinos and natives, that, you know, they're God's chosen people. They got to come out this place because this place is going to be destroyed. To the best of my ability, I gave them enough that I can. Too a little excited, right? And they got to take that. If they take that and go look up the YouTube channel, that's not me. I am nothing. I cannot even do this teaching if it's not for the Lord. So if the Lord bring them to going into the scriptures, or going to the YouTube channel and getting edified, guess what? It's the angels of the Lord if they repent, because the angels rejoice if one sinner repent. I'm only a messenger to do this work, man. Right? Let me get a precept for that real quick, because that was motivating for me, and Lord willing, it was motivating for you. Let's get 2 Thessalonians, the 3rd chapter. Then he said, I respect that you teaching for what you believe, which is true, but truly, I'm teaching the doctrine of the Lord. So it's not really just what I believe, this is the doctrine of the Lord. Truly, this truth cuts any belief on the earth. This is the only truth that got men teaching the word. Even in Christianity, they doing something different than what Muslims freaking doing. Catholic Church, with these and then biting kids circumcised spot, man. Right? This truth is the main thing being pushed on the earth outside of that damn Christianity crack. No other belief is pushing this work out. Right? In truth and honesty. Right? So this is 2 Thessalonians chapter 3 in verse 10. It says, for even when we were with you, this we commanded you, that if any would not work, neither should he eat. This is our work, man. The men of the Lord, this is your work, man. This is your duty, to go teach the words of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi in the midst of the nations. Regardless if they hear for beer, truly for the elect of Israel, but the other nations need to hear their judgment too. Just like I said, if they are Israelites, this is for them. But if it's not if they're not Israelites, they're going to be destroyed. If they 2/3, they're going to be destroyed. So even the 2/3 got to hear this gospel. Because it's good news that you're going to get destroyed. It's good news. Because then you ain't going to have to sin no more, brother. Then you're going to come back in the kingdom being reborn through the loins of men in your right damn sense. Esau, man, this is your ruin. right? So brothers, this is work. So if you're not working, you can't eat. Through the spirit, you can't eat wisdom, knowledge, and understanding if you're not trying to work, and you can't physically eat. You starving out here if you ain't doing the work of the Lord, man. Right? All them other people that's in the world, they think they eating. They ain't getting the Lord not even letting them spiritually eat. So they just, the Lord said, don't labor for meat that perisheth, but labor for the meat that's everlasting. That's in St. John, man. Right? Don't live by bread, but live by every word. Live by every word of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Right? Lord willing, that was edifying. So let's go to this. This says Isaiah the 14th chapter, verse 15. It says, "Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the side of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake the kingdoms?" Now, if this, of course, this is Babylon fallen, but the place is fallen. Some of the nobles and rulers, right, the lower levels, they're going to be put to death. But truly, those that are the elite, they're going to be preserved. So how are people going to look and say, "Oh, you shook in the naked nations"? This is going even deeper than the land. It's going into the people that ruled Babylon, where their heads and their workings, Babylon made the money for them. They're a part of it. Whatever they was saying going, and if Babylon was letting it go forth, guess what? That came through the elites. So when we come back on this earth through Yahawashi, the nation's gonna see those that was in power, Esau, and they're gonna be like, "Man, this was the man that was putting fear in the earth, shaking the nations, that was saying he was all high and mighty. Now this man," what did it say? In verse 15, "shall be brought down to hell." Right? What is truly hell? Revelations 1 and 18. Right? And even Luke the 16th chapter, because they're going to be tormented, man. Revelations 1 and 18, it says, "I am he that liveth and was dead, and behold, I am alive forevermore. Amen. And have the keys of hell and death." Yahawashi has the keys to open and shut. Put you in hell, which is a condition, a lower estate, and put you to hell, put you in the spirit world, man. Jake is in a low estate. Some of you dumb Edomites, that's low and poor, living in trailer parks, right? The Lord put you in the low estate, man. You look like a nigga, man. Right? Because the Lord just seen the potential that you couldn't be a higher up. He don't need you. I'm gonna use this man. Right? In hell, where a lot of these people in the nations is going in the spirit world, man. Right? What was the other one I quoted? Luke, the 16th chapter. Right? This is dealing with the rich man and the poor man. The rich man is synonymous with Esau, and the poor man is Lazarus, who is synonymous with the Israelites. Really, the elect. Because if he's going to be in the bosom of Abraham, those that get salvation on this side first is symbolic to Lazarus, right? This is Luke 16. Going to, I want to just start at 19, but we're going to drop down. It says, "There was a certain rich man," which is synonymous with Esau, "which was clothed in purple and fine linen, and fared sumptuously every day." Wait, how's you putting that with Esau? Right? I could look at that as the Pharisee. Now, I could understand you because, they is in a position of power. But really, when we get in these scriptures, you'll look at it as Esau. Right? When we go to Revelation 17 and 1, then we're going to drop down. What verse we going to drop down to? Verse 4. So, Revelation 17 and 1, "And there came one of the seven angels which had the seven veils, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many nations." This is America. And how do America sit upon many nations? Through Washington, by their military might, their footprint being in all throughout the earth, and being being upon many waters is talking about people, multitude, nations, and tongues. Only America is doing that, right? Through their allies and the power that be of the elites. Dropping to verse 4, it says, and a woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. Right? The way that she looked is the delicacy of America, man. So we just seen that purple, which is synonymous with the rich man in Luke. Let's get another one in the book of Isaiah. I think 47. Isaiah 47 in verse 1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans. For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Right? The top elites, right? Those that's in power, in a power seat, they're going to have to sit down because they're not going to be called tender and delicate no more. That goes by that purple scarlet, right? That look of royalty, right? And all the things of the medallions that's on that hoard, right? So going back to Luke 16:19, there was a certain man which was clothed in purple and fine linen and fared sumptuously every day. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which is AKA a bum, right? The men of the Lord are synonymous, so they're bums, right? That's a good thing, right? They're beggars, right? Not in the physical sense, but in the spiritual sense. It says, which was laid at his gate full of sores, desiring to be fed with the crumbs which was fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs came and licked their sores, man. We're eating the crumbs of Esau, what he gives us. The GMO, right? You get your hot Cheetos, you get your crackers, you get your little stepped on wine, your liquor, right? The little crumbs, the little things that you get from his table. And half the things I just said, they not even eating that because they not eating no GMOs, right? Now, some of them nasty, some of them is, right? Let's drop down because I want to get to the point. Okay, verse 22. And it came to pass that the beggar died and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. Abraham's bosom is synonymous with the kingdom that the Israelites are going to receive, the elect. The rich man also died and was buried. And in hell he lifted up his eyes. Hell was the condition that the Lord gave him. Right? Revelations 1:18. Right now, Esau's not in his hell. Now, some of the lower Edomites, but their higher ups are still in rulership. So in the heaven, they're going to be in their hell. Right? Their lower estate, their condition, their torment. Let's read it. In hell he lifted up his eyes, being in torments, seeing Abraham afar off and Lazarus in the bosom. And Lazarus was in his comfort. Right? In the bosom of Abraham, he was in his comfort. The kingdom. And the rich man was getting tormented. Right? He came from rags to riches to being a bum. To torment. He cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me and send Lazarus that he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. Right? He's tormented with the affliction he got. Right? Through the spirit. Yo, if this is said in the scripture, Esau in the kingdom is going to want the affliction to be lighter. But he's going to receive double for what he have done to us. First starting with the nukes that's going to get to Babylon, their kingdom falling, and then everything, their power getting taken from them. And then they're going to be under men that are connected to the Lord. They're going to be power. Right? They're going to see what they were trying to imitate, flying, superpowers, technology, flying in the air. They're going to see what they was symbolically trying to portray, but couldn't really imitate. They couldn't imitate it because it's not for them. They're going to see us in glory, flying on chariots. Man, F a damn car. F my car, my wife, come in, F all of that, man. F whatever car you driving. We talking about flying in style, right? You got to pay taxes to ride on the horse. Man, man, we going to be connected to the animals. They going to see all the men of the Lord, the children, the women, being Dr. Doolittle, speaking to the animals, man. Speaking to the bees. Tormenting, like, hey, yo, bees, go watch them. If they do something that's not right, go sting them. Man, we going to be connected, you know? So in his torment, he's going to be afflicted for the torment he's going to get being in hell, being in his condition. We're going to be in the bosom. We're going to be in richness, really authority, right? Going back to Isaiah, the 14th chapter, right? Lord willing, y'all got that, right? So they're going to be brought down to hell. Back to Isaiah 14:16. They that see thee shall nervously look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble? Oh, that did shake the kingdoms, right? With his bombs, right? What do Babylon do? Right? They're bullies of all nations, right? It says that made the world as a wilderness, bombing shit, man. It says, and destroying cities thereof, that open not the house of his prisoners, right? What did they do to Hiroshima? Bombed it just to put fear into other people, man. That's what America does. They're trying to be bullies. But guess what? The Lord set them up with the okie doke. Everybody say America got the most military footprint on the earth. That's true. But with the Lord set up, when all your allies turn on you, and Russia, which is going to be the start of it, start shooting bombs, it's over. It's over, man. Our salvation is connected to Esau destruction. Through the Spirit, we getting delivered by hearing His word, but their destruction got to happen before we get our salvation, our physical deliverance, man. Right? We're going to close in a minute. I see the battery going down. Verse 18. All the kings of the nations, even all them lie in glory, every one in his own house. All the nations, the Russians, right? The Europeans over there, but which is still connected over here to America. Israel, right? Australia, Africa, a lot of them isn't enjoying their riches in their house. Right? And Jake, you enjoying the riches of your oppressors, man. The little money that you get. That's nothing compared to what the scriptures and the prophecy show. Right? Verse 19, it says, but thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch, and as the remnant of those that are slain thrust through with the sword, that go down to the stone of the pit, as a carcass trodden underfoot. Oh yeah, right? It says, thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because you have a better one. Because thou hast destroyed thy land and slain thy people. The seed of evildoers shall never be renowned. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers. They that do not rise nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with Esau. Right? And who's going to prepare slaughter? The nations that's against Babylon. And even the allies that's about to be mad at the whore. Let's go back to Revelations, the 17th chapter. Revelation 17, verse 16, it says, the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, which is NATO, the EU, the European Union, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. How they gonna do that? How they gonna burn her with fire? You think they gonna have a cannonball like in Rome, where they put oil or gasoline or fuel on a metal ball, put light on it, and everybody just throwing 200 million of these balls in the land of America? You out your mind. They can't even know. Look at the time we in. We're moved by technology. right? They're making technology weapons. They got missiles that could fly from continent to continent. That's what's going to burn this whole place, man. Right? This destruction is set up. This was declared from the beginning of the time. Right? Right now we're not truly in the mind of the Lord, but this was a divine word from the Lord, man. This was in the Lord's mind. He set this up. So what's going to happen to Esau? What's going to happen for you elect? Right? This was in the mind of the Lord. That's why the Lord is thinking of giving you the unexpected end that the elect deserve. Not all nations, man. Right? So let me get a closing scripture. We could keep on going, but for time's sake, let's see what should we get, man. Let's get something that's motivating, man, for the end. You know what? We'll go to this one. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 2. I want to go to this for closing. This is something that should be on the elect mind, man. Right? This is 2nd Ezra, the 2nd chapter, verse 41. The number of thy children whom thou longest for is fulfilled. Beseech Yahawah thy people, which have been called from the beginning, may be hallowed. Who was called from the beginning? The elect. Because the Lord declared the end from the beginning. Right? Verse 42. I, Ezra, saw upon the mountain of Zion a great people, among I could not number, and they all praise Yahawah with songs, which is the elect. Starting with the 144,000, right? David, the 12, the 144,000, which is part of it, and the rest of the elect, which all together would be a great multitude, which he could not number. In the midst of them, there was a young man of a high stature, Yahawashi, taller than all the rest. Upon the head of every one, he placed a crown, and was ever more exalted, which I marveled at greatly. So I asked the angel and said, Sir, what are these? And he answered and said unto me, These be they that have put off the mortal clothing and put on immortality, and have confessed the name of God. Now are they crowned and receive palms. Starting with the men of the Lord. Because who brought forth this teaching? The Lord did to the men. So those are the one that's confessing Yahawah, Yahawashi, man. Right? It says, and then I asked the angel, who is the young man that crowneth them, and he giveth them palms in their hands? And he answered and said unto them, He is the Son of God. That is Mashiach Yahawashi. Yahawashi meaning he saves or he delivers. Whom they have confessed in the world. Right? We confess Yahawashi in the world. That's the one that's crowning us. We confessing Yahawah, and we confessing him that's going to crown us. This is a vision that Ezra is seeing. And we're confessing Yahawashi, the one that's crowning us that didn't crown us yet. So we confessing him before he crowned us. It says, Then began I greatly to commend them who stood so firmly for the name of Yahawah. In the spirit, he's commending those that stood firm in the name of the Lord. Yo, keep y'all, man, you did it. Oh, man, come here, you know what I'm saying? Right? He greatly commended, man. Y'all doing a good job, man. Yo, man, oh, man. Yo, let's look up the word commend. Commend means praise formally or officially, or it can mean compliment. Present as suitable for approve, acceptance, or recommend. Right? So he's giving approval, he's giving a compliment, and he's praising. Right? He's telling the elect, man, he's praising the elect. Man, y'all doing a good job, man. Right? He's applauding. Right? So then began I greatly to commend those who stood so firmly for the name of Yahawashi, right? The Father and the Son. Yahawashi said in St. John 17, he manifests the Heavenly Father name to us, and then Yahawashi, we had his name. So now In order to baptize the sheep in the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, we got to do it in the name of the Father, Yahawah, the Son, Yahawashi, and in the Spirit, the Rakak Wadash. The Ha Rakak Wadash. Then the angel said unto me, go and tell my people what manner of things and what great wonders Yahawah Shemashai, thy power, thou hast seen. Right? And so now that we read this, we over here telling you this great wonder that's going to happen in that time with Yahawashi. Lord willing, we are that number. Right? So we're going to face the east and give our praises to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham Rakak Wadash. Those that's new to the channel, Yahawah is the Most High God. Yahawashi is who the world innately calls Jesus. And double honors to the elder apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well through the Spirit, and a mighty shalom to the hopeful elect in the same Spirit, teaching His word and believing His word. Lord willing that you all continue to endure in sound doctrine, right, in the same Spirit. Shalom to the Akwath. Lord willing is that you continue to pursue your lot, which is being a loving and silent and virtuous wife. And Lord willing, the Most High have mercy to the other brothers and sisters that's not in the faith. With that, shalom, shalom, abal, abal. Till next time.